US because we were in the developing world, and so it was a concession that US gave. And what you receive in exchange is soft power that, a lot of people have a good disposition towards the US because the US has been kind to Africa and all that kind of thing. But in comes President Trump. He has a more transactional mindset, and he says that the US has been taken for granted for a long time. And so even countries like Ghana in Africa, he slapped a 15% tariff on us from zero tariff. And so AGUA is technically dead. It was due for renegotiation in September. There's no way with this 15% tariff, AGUA is going to be renewed. But we're just watching carefully. The power to impose tariffs is that of Congress. But in this case, the US president always pushes the limits. And so there's a case in the US Supreme Court to determine whether his impositions of tariffs are legal or not. And so depending on what the US court says, the tariffs would either be permanent, or they might have to go back to Congress to endorse the tariffs that he has imposed. I've been reluctant to implement a state of emergency in the Galamsey fight because we've not exhausted the powers we even have without a state of emergency. We have the opportunity to arrest anybody, to confiscate any such thing. There are laws for forest protection and all that give us enough powers to be able to act. Implementing a state of emergency might sound nice, but it should be the last extreme, the last resort. So for now, let's exercise all the powers we have. And if it becomes necessary for a state of emergency, then we'll look at it. It means we have to go to Parliament. The president can't just declare a state of emergency without, going to Parliament, because there's a limit to how long you can maintain that state of emergency. And so I believe that we still have leverage to continue to fight Galamsey without necessarily implementing a state of emergency. It means that we have to delineate the areas where the state of emergency is operational. And if you look at the area where Galamsey is taking place, it covers several districts of our country. And so we would do it if it becomes necessary. But for now, I think that we've given the security services enough powers to be able to deal with people who are found to be involved in Galamsey. We recognize a very steep appreciation in the value of the cedi in response to the reforms that we were carrying out. And for those of you who listened to me, there was one occasion where I said, people were asking whether it will go below 10. And I said, it is dropping, but it will find its true value. It was undervalued at 16, and it probably is overvalued at 10. But somewhere between there, we have the real value of the cedi. And so I believe that it is about stopping rapid depreciation of the currency. Almost every currency would realize either depreciation or appreciation in the course of a year. But when you have steep depreciation of about, like we had in 2024, 25% depreciation in the currency in the first half of the year, it makes planning difficult. And so, yes, Bank of Ghana has been intervening in the forex market, but they've withdrawn. And what happened was that because of the rapid appreciation in the value of the cedi, we saw an exponential increase in imports, because then people could buy cheaper dollars and so they could import more, which is a natural economic phenomenon. But on the other side, exporters are not happy because they get less cedis for what they export. And so every country tries to find out a balance where exporters are able to do good business and importers are not overburdened by high forex rates. Where that lies, I don't know. I'm not a central bank. But the CD is making an adjustment, and I believe that it will settle at a certain rate, and we will make sure that any depreciation that occurs in the value of the CD is within a margin of about 5% per annum. That is what we target.
We have very great relations with China, and to be fair to the Chinese, a lot of them are doing good business. They are investing in transformative projects. There is no official China government policy to come and destroy our environment, and they have made clear anytime we have engaged with officials in Beijing. They have been supporting us to get rid of their nationals who come in, and as you do know, we have been cracking down, arresting them, prosecuting them, and we will continue with the arrests and prosecutions. I can confirm to you that as part of my recent visit to China, I went to the state where they are notorious for sending their nationals here to engage in Galamsey. I met with the governor, the city authorities, and Director Asia is here. He can confirm that in that meeting, I did not mince words at all. I really stated President Mahama's position that this cannot continue. We welcome good investors to come partner with us and transform our economy, but we will not accept you sending your nationals here to engage in Galamsey. And we made that very clear to the city authorities. What we have also done subsequently following that meeting is that we have a new policy now at our embassy in Beijing and our consulate in Guangzhou, where we no longer process group visa applications. That's the new policy. Everybody must show up for an interview, and no matter if you claim you are coming for a conference, an excursion, whatever, you must all produce yourselves individually and apply individually. So there's a strict directive that no more group processing of visas, which was one of the outcomes of the meeting we held with the city authorities. The president disclosed that the first batch of deportees, numbering 14 people, had already arrived in Accra. Among them were nationals of Nigeria and the Gambia, who have been assisted to return to their respective countries. The government of Ghana took the principled and humanitarian decision to accept the limited number of West African nationals deported from the United States under exceptional circumstances, in line with Ghana's long-standing Pan-African ideals and unwavering commitment to regional solidarity. Many of these individuals were being held in detention, which was both psychologically and physically distressing. They were also faced with the risk of being deported to countries that are not safe and do not have the stability and human rights credentials Ghana is famed for. You need to note that President Trump has secured a positive verdict from the US Supreme Court that he could go ahead and remove these nationals and dump them anywhere. As a nation that upholds the dignity and rights of all people, particularly those of African descent, Ghana's action was guided solely by our moral responsibility, our legal obligations under the 1992 Constitution and ECOWAS protocols, our distinguished Pan-African track record, and historic and legendary leadership in championing the rights of all Africans. Let me emphasize that under this understanding with the United States, Ghana must first independently vet the background of those the US intends to deport to first satisfy ourselves that they do not pose any threat to the security of our country and that they cannot harm our citizens. We have put in place strict safeguards to ensure that convicted, hardened criminals cannot be brought into our country under this understanding. The Mahama administration will never compromise the safety and well-being of Ghanaians. This understanding with the US has been thoroughly discussed by Cabinet and has also received the Attorney General's advice. By established convention, MOUs are not sent to Parliament for ratification, I have inherited hundreds of MOUs from the previous administration, which were not sent to Parliament for ratification. It is important to stress and to state unequivocally that Ghana has not received and does not seek any financial compensation or material benefit in relation to this understanding. Our decision is grounded purely on humanitarian principle and Pan-African solidarity. I wish to express government's deep concern over the recent unfortunate clashes in Binyere in the Savannah region of Ghana near the borders with neighboring Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, resulting in the loss of lives and displacement of Ghanaians in both countries. I promptly directed Ghana's embassies in Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso to actively collaborate with Ivorian and Burkinabe authorities to ramp up necessary consular assistance to our compatriots. In addition, I have personally been to Côte d'Ivoire since Friday, the 12th of September 2025. Indeed, I'm returning to Accra only this morning. During my 3-day working visit, I held discussions with my Ivorian counterpart, His Excellency Kaku Huaja Leon Adom, about the displaced Ghanaians in Côte d'Ivoire. After the talks, I led a team to the Bukani region, where some 13,253 displaced compatriots originally sought refuge. My visit was aimed at conveying a special message from President John Dramani Mahama to conduct further assessment of the situation for additional consular assistance, to express Ghana's gratitude to our Ivorian counterparts, and to offer immediate assistance. During my visit, I discovered that about 8,000 Ghanaians have safely returned home. The latest census conducted revealed that the remaining number of Ghanaians in Côte d'Ivoire is 5,309. 5,309, no more 13,253. I delivered a special message from President Mahama, which was a message of peace and forgiveness, and a message appealing to all our compatriots to return home, since government has beefed up security and ensured that normalcy is restored. On behalf of President Mahama, I donated 6 million CFA to cover urgent humanitarian needs and to facilitate logistical requirements for their safe return home. This donation is distinct from other relief items, including food, water, blankets, and medicines already provided through NADMO. I have also engaged my Burkinabe counterpart, His Excellency Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré, on the welfare of our displaced compatriots, who are about 1,455. A reduction from the tally of 2,500 refugees during the peak of the conflict.
Before Okwe report no buy, me kanchre Nana Akufo-Addo na ye wo meeting mo enya me no nkwa me ne no nkrofo bi ena ye meeting ena ye di nkomo ye say we ewo ho boku wo ho ye say we Muslim ene we no nyina na ye di nkomo hwe reasons are. And I be country and now Akufo-Addo say, Papa, medie, ye in Shwemua, Okwe report ye, a ba, and na omukase, Dr. Baumia, we a cramoninti, and I say, Mampusi kusa sinti, na ye ulusi abano, medie, maybe step it down, me copy. Sana me country, me Papa Nana Akufo-Addo. Because me pese me family interest ahead of the party. The party's interest must always be ahead of me. Say, because of the party, I will sacrifice any ambition if me kwa yebelusi. But Okwe report ne baye, Ashanti report ne baye, Conrad Adenauer Foundation report nebaye. Ninyina by the same conclusion. Religion, tribe was not a factor in the 2024 election. Ye tu abaye ye research ewie. Ye nimse abay any ye party ye infomso. Ye infomso. Bebre ewo ye governance no mo. Niema wo ho a afi se yebeye yanye. Ye may be true wo ho a ye anka ye hu from the background so a ye enti mejina ha ye nyina ye ka ho bi. Vice President, ministers, MPs, board chairman, appointees, yenyina ya yem from so pacho momfanche yen why momfanche yenyina ya from so momfanche na yesua ye lessons nyame adom ena mode franka ne hyemensa me be ye president a embasabium ya belle ni ye lessons momfanche embasabium
yenyina yehudida de ekoso ebene du se mekasa de ekoso na mo nyina amani tua de ekoso enkoyi eti ye candidate nu wie ga kabom techria 2028 ye dey asem pakusi MP omanu so a minim so nyakopon wo he 2028 internal adwuma MPP aban be ye me breso ne kufo breso maye mu bi enrefi ne doso pa na sab adwuma ye no ene e begina so akodi 2 minu 2028.
Tell yourself the truth. Why were you saying break the 8? Because you knew that it has never happened before. You were just trying to do the impossible. So if you are trying to do an impossible thing and it doesn't happen, why are you hard on yourself? For what reason? You know it. That's why you were doing break the 8. Because you know that it is difficult to break the 8. That's why you made it your slogan. That's number one. Number two, you knew that no first-time candidate has won an election in this fourth republic. You know that. And you have done 8 years. You have presented a new candidate and you didn't win. And you are beating yourself. Wallahi, I'm not beating myself. Wallahi, I understand it. I'm not upset. And I don't think that anybody is responsible for anything. We did our best. Why? If we had won the election, would we have formed a committee to look at why we won? You will not. You would have thought that the campaign team was perfect. The campaign manager and Nana Komia and all these people would have added it as more badges of honor, as more laurels that they have won. So because they did their best. So if they didn't win, so be it. As Muslims, we are all taught to say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That's all. It's a very simple matter. So, Bob Marley says, he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. In our case, we didn't even fight and run away. We fought and we are here. We are fighting again. So I beg you, I just came to Damango to say that all these things General Secretary and Co are saying, Dr. Bawumia, well, they are nice guys. I'm not a very nice guy. So they are nice guys. They will say they are sorry, they did this. But wallahi, there is no policy that the MPP implemented that I am sorry about. Wallahi, I'm not sorry about anything. We did our best for this country. And there is nothing that John Mahama will ever do that will match anything that we have done. Nothing. Nothing. Wallahi, nothing. Look, already see what's going on in governance. Today they appoint somebody chief executive. Tomorrow they change him and take him here. Tomorrow, my oil refinery, they appointed Combat. The next week they removed him and brought Suleimana. Yesterday they removed Suleimana. This is a confused government. They are not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere. And so let us stand together. We, like I told you, myself and Clifford and Co, we started from opposition. We started in 1991-92 as opposition people. So opposition is not something that frightens us at all. It doesn't frighten us at all. If you attend presec, Achimota, and you become a great man, I don't care about you. I respect somebody who attended Damango Secondary School or Boku Secondary School and becomes a big man. So fighting from the ground up, that is what resilience it is. You cannot win always. You cannot win always. I have a son, my firstborn, who says he's going to contest to be constituency secretary for Medina. I told him, I said, Zaki, I am going to come to Medina and campaign against you to lose. Why? Because all through his life, he's been winning elections. JHS, SRC president, SRC president, Casper Hall secretary, SRC president, UCC. I said, no. You see, if you are winning all the time, you will tend to believe in your own invincibility. Sometimes it is important to lose, to learn humility, and learn that God exists. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
This Galamsey matter, which has risen a lot in Ghana today. In the last election in the mining districts of the country, the MPP did very badly. Largely because the NDC presidential candidate and the party had gone around the mining areas and saying that the policy that I was implementing of trying to stop Galamsey would be reversed when he came to power, and that those who were already in jail for offenses, the Galamsey offenses, all of them would be amnestied. When I said I was putting my presidency on the line, that's what I meant. That I was prepared to take the political risk involved in trying to deal with this Galamsey phenomenon. The result, of course, was that the mining districts, especially in the western region, all of them, including almost, nearly, even Takwa, was lost to the MPP. That is what I meant when I said I'm putting my presidency on the line. That I was prepared to take the political risk involved in coming to grips with this problem. Today, he's saying that no, he doesn't believe in jailing, that he's against Galamsey, that he will enforce the law. So once again, we have to ask ourselves, Mr. J.M., where do you stand? What are you telling the people of Ghana? Because every time you speak from one corner of your mouth and you speak from another corner of your mouth. Let us hear from you direct, straight up, what do you stand for? We need to know. The candidate, the MPP presidential candidate, has gone on record as saying
that you stop Galamsey for you losing your seat. Yes, stop you yes, stop you now nanka ya court you stop Galamsey for you losing your seat. Yes, stop you yes, stop you.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
All right, and gradually we're getting to the end of month of September 2025. You're welcome to the program. By the directive principles of state policy, we meet again. It's a right given to us by the Constitution to talk Ghana. Welcome to the program. So we thank God for giving us yet another day to discuss the country. Let's go through the headlines of the newspapers. I'll start off with the Daily Graphic. Front page, it says, Galamsey fight, water bodies, forest reserves, now security zones. I don't know if that is, means same as state of emergency, because if you say it's a security zone, then it implies to me. I don't know, but we'll get the clarity maybe later on in the show. Mansa Neti Orleans Lindsay wins topmost CIMG awards. Congratulations. ECG terminates 202 contracts for underperformance. First Sky Boss rally support for 15 million SU campsite. Daily Guide, build global business giants. Alex Dade charges Africa. Denmark commends margins ID group for digital drive. No one has monopoly over album compilation MPP. Mamponting chief sues Prophet Roger over doom prophecy. Daily Guide resumes Saturday publication. That's it for Daily Guide. And also, let's go through the custodian. Stop reckless marriages and giving birth by hearts. Islamic cleric warns. Build global business giants in Africa, KGL boss to African leaders. Ghanaians now drink Galamsey, polluted water, miracles, Abuaje. NPP promises free, fair presidential primary. Denmark margins build alliance in Africa digital ID drive. Let's go to the Ghanaian Times. Ghanaian Times. Sunyani Library left to rot. Weeds, reptiles take over building. U.S. lifts visa restrictions on Ghana. UDS crowned FISU World Cup champs. WAPCO awards 1.9 million Ghana cedis tertiary student scholarship. Denmark hails Ghana digital ID success deepens ties with Margins Group. The Ghanaian publisher, Gapoha Tef War, Director General versus Ports Director, KGL Chair publishes Africa to build global business giants. NPP slumps reckless chairman. Water crisis looms. Senor Hosi warns. Water crisis looms. I think this crisis, we've been warned about it years ago. So I'm not even sure if it's something new. We're not even surprised. We're not surprised at all. The Inquisitor. Finally, ECG traces containers. Over 1,000 retrieved from port to warehouse. Titus Glover named in Dodowa land arm twisting. Alex Dade relishes Africa global business giants. NPA gets wild over illicit fuel trade. Metrolens. Ghana imports water because of Galamsey. Senor Hosi. Brian turns the eastern region upside down. New Jersey Achim Association installs Queen Mother in grand ceremony. The New Crusading Guide. Lies crushed. Dubik Mahama stands tall. Lies crushed. Dubik Mahama stands tall. As ECG traces all missing containers, retrieves over 1,000 from ports. GPRTU exposed in CMB market row. Developer produces genuine documents, confirms lease. Galamsey crisis, Ghanaians being forced to drink polluted water. Dennis, miracles, Abuaji. Comer Estates under fire over attempt to overturn court ruling on Brekusu lands. Also, a Sutifi South MP son traders clash. Ibrahim Dauda accused of intimidation and harassment. The top right corner of the New Crusading Guide says strong tidal waves sinks 28-member boat at Elmina Fishing Harbor. The Herald. NIB makes major arrest in Gonja Brefor conflict in Bole traditional area. Government to balance media freedom with stricter oversight. Charlatans, scammers, and indecent content targeted in broadcasting reforms. Ho Akofa installs Kafui Aja as divisional queen mother. Education Ministry probes 15,000 Ghana cedis bribery for SHS placement. NPA steps up crackdown on illicit fuel trade. The Daily Statesman, true party strength lies in grassroots. Brian, KGL boss Africa must rethink its development model. Galamsey crisis escalates. Disastrous effect on public health looms. Lawyer, Ilko's deception in Edu Boahin's trial cancerous to nation building. NPP commits to fair flag bearer election processes. Also, the Inquisitor says that finally ECG traces containers over 1,000 retrieved from port to warehouse. Okay, I think I have that. But let me give you Business and Financial Times. Port reforms hinge on transparency, not just expansion. Transport Ministry acknowledges concerns, drafts LI to operationalize Shapers Act. Fifth, IMF review takes off this week. Horticulture, Vice President visits Ghana Gardens and Flower Show, engages exhibitors and innovators. Let's copy something from Singapore when it comes to this. Future of media hinges on compliance, innovation, and collective reform. Some George. Accra is home. Accra is home to one of Africa's largest furnishing showroom. All right. We'll break here and take a breather. We'll be back shortly with more.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printers. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Brush, 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 brush your teeth. Brush, 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 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit's toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky chicky whiter, chicky chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit, happy smile.
Chechi woni nara me din e de baby da pa me de ade sonko kra na ebremo nya ode to aduane mo ama waduane e de pa na me de bremo eno any some spices de e mu wa wo bebre o various flavors ubenya e yakoko ubenya nantwie ye de gu jollof mu ma emu ye de ubenya ne de gu nkwan ye de gu froye mu ho na kope bito na ema waduane enye de unyimi nia ye nkon ye konko tie nyankofo eka
Autant de communication, we all enjoy Uduba, that Samu spices.
One in the essence, no time. I'm going to get it. Samu spices in a BTA, daddy so say. Samu spices, Moon Samu.
Samu spices, Nyama chicken.
Samu spices.
In Sanaka in Kitwa, measure 10 grams. You want chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, and jollof, and the flavors of food will be brave.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with cars, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitaligh.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future.
almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey you later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No better why you luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame.
Send your God down for boom. If you put it away, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
All right, you're welcome back to the program. And so you see our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Metro TV Ghana, that's on Facebook. Metro TV GH, that's on X, Instagram. And of course, you have www.metrotvonline.com website is also available. On DSTV, we're on channel 277. And we're also live on Multi TV. Those of you who have been complaining for time immemorial that you weren't finding us on Multi TV. We're now on Multi TV. You can tune in also on radio. It's 94.1 FM, 94.1 FM on radio, and you have access to Good Morning Ghana just in case you're moving about. You have very little time on your hands to sit or stay at home and enjoy the program. Right. Let me welcome Lara Tomosa Saka, who is a member of the NPP Communications, National Communications team. She's joined us here in the studio. Lara, you're welcome. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Annie.
And how are you?
I'm good. How are you too?
I'm fine, thank you. How was your weekend?
Alhamdulillah. It was good.
It was good, eh?
Yeah.
Mm. All right. So I'll come back to you, Lara, too. We have another, guest who will join us pretty shortly from the NDC. Rosemond, we're expecting her to get into the studio pretty shortly, presidential staffer, but when she comes, we'll introduce her. In the meantime, let's have you a statement that was released by the Ghana Education Service over the weekend, Ghana Education Service on the 25th of September 2025, and the statement is about school placement is absolutely free. The Education Ministry has already indicated that it is actually investigating some alleged, extortion of monies from students who are applying or who are looking for their placement. The GS says that, one, attention of the management of the Ghana Education Service has been drawn to trending reports on social media alleging that some parents and guardians are being charged sums of monies for placement of wards in senior high schools. GES wishes to categorically state that the school placement exercise is absolutely free of charge, and that's highlighted. Now, at no point should any parent, guardian, or student pay money to any individual group of persons for placement into senior high schools or technical and vocational education and training, that's TVET institutions. Now, the GES has also established official and transparent processes for placement. Parents and guardians are advised to use only the computerized school selection and placement system portal, the resolution centers, and the official GES communication channels for all placement-related concerns. We encourage anyone who is approached with demands for money in exchange for placement to immediately report to Ghana Education Service or to the nearest police station for swift action. The GES remains committed to ensuring fairness, transparency, and equal opportunity for all qualified candidates. Placement into senior high schools is strictly merit-based and free of charge. It is signed by Daniel Fenyi. He is head of publications GES. Now let's go onto the phone lines and engage one of our senior men in education, Peter Anti. He has joined us, Peter Anti-Party, for the records, Peter Anti-Party. He's an educationist and he's joined us on the phone lines to have an interesting conversation about these developments. Also, there are statistics released by the Ghana Statistical Service as well, and some other data Peter has, who will talk about the senior high school situation today. Peter, thank you so much for your time. I mean, you are Peter Anti PhD, right?
Yes, please, Annie, but you just call me Peter, that's fine.
I knew you were going to say that, but let's just recognize that. Dr. Peter Anti, thank you for your time and good morning to you. All right, so we will, take your mind or pick your mind on the current situation with SHS to start with. What can you or have you gathered, especially when it comes to free SHS system and then the current placement system ongoing?
Right, thank you very much. So what do I take first? Should we talk about the placement or we start with the state of educational resources in secondary schools?
We can start with the state of the educational resources and then we end with the placement.
So I've been working on educational resource distribution in our schools, basic and secondary level, for some years now. I chanced on the data from the Auditor General's Performance Assessment Report, and then the Ghana Statistical Service Essential Services Report that was released some few months ago. And this information seems to suggest that when we talk of educational resources, we are looking at issues as to classrooms, state of classrooms, desks and textbooks. We are looking at availability of water, because in our secondary schools, because some of them or most of them are boarding schools, you need to have a flow. I mean, water should be flowing. We have, you look at availability of places of convenience, so washrooms. We have availability of conducive dormitories, beds, and other things that are supposed to be available for the students to use. And the data does not look good in terms of educational resources in secondary schools. The Auditor General's Performance Assessment Report revealed some strange, interesting details. It says that when they sampled the number of schools that they sampled, 13% of those schools are the schools that met the national standard of 1 toilet to 50 people. So there's a standard and that is a global standard, even with UNESCO, that in every school, 50 students should have access to 1 toilet. So if you have about 150 students, it means that you have 3 toilets available. That only 30% of schools met that condition. However, 25% of the schools had no toilet facility at all. So 25% of the schools had no toilet facility at all, which means that in those schools, the students have to use places such as the bush and other things to be able to ease themselves. And it became even interesting when you are adding the teachers to it. It means that if a teacher is in the school during the day and he has to do something. I mean, go to go and ease himself. He will need to use a place or maybe move away from campus because there are no toilet facilities at all. Then 62% had toilets, but they were woefully inadequate to serve the student population. And there are schools that have been mentioned. I don't want to mention the schools named there, but there are schools that have been mentioned that have population of about 1,500, but there was only one functioning toilet facility. Some of the schools do not have water flowing at all. They don't have access to electricity. The roads to the schools are not in good shape. These are things that, when we talk about conducive environment that promotes quality education, these are the things that we are looking at. And that is why sometimes when we are talking about we are providing quality education, and we say that quality education have gone up, I have a little big problem with it, because when you talk about provision of quality education, you are not looking at only output, which normally we focus on the results that come out. We're also looking at what we call the input variables, because it's the input variables that determine the output. So the input variables include all these things that I'm talking about: availability of toilets, water, quality teachers. You are looking at supervision, level of supervision. You are looking at desks. You are looking at provision of food, good food for the students. And in most instances, if you look at our data, it suggests that we do not have good quality input in terms of the provision of our quality education. So yes, the students might be able to do provide one or two performances when it comes to WASI, but then the input variables that are supposed to project, that are supposed to prepare them, that are supposed to make them feel the kind of conducive environment that they need to get, most of our schools do not have. And unfortunately, we have not done enough over the years. I've been working on this since 2018. We've not done enough over the years to be able to show that we want to provide quality education for our children.
Just for the records, which report is this, and it was released when? So
there are two reports that looked at this. The first one is the Auditor General's Performance Assessment Report that was released this year. Then the second report is the Ghana Statistical Service Essential Services Report. One was released in 2022 that indicated that we had these challenges, and then I think early this year or late last year, another report was released. It's a report that they release, I think, every 2 years or so. That still said that these challenges continue to persist. Again, my personal research that I've done, published, have also confirmed this, and I said I've been doing this from 2018.
Right.
Have confirmed this, that the state of our educational resources in our secondary schools continue to what?
So Auditor General's report, performance assessment reports, right, this year?
Yes, please.
And Ghana Statistical, what report?
Essential services.
Essential.
Proximity to essential services, yes.
Okay, and this report captured same data in terms of
different data. So the Statistical Service report indicates that there are only 2 out of 5 schools nationwide that have access to toilets, urinal, and running water. So if you take 5 schools, only 2 will have access to this. And these 2 schools, the state of these educational resources are sometimes nothing to write home.
So, okay, with your analysis, aside the fact that we are also looking at, putting up more schools because of the policy-free SHS, the space needed for the students because more students are enrolling, we also have to look at the schools themselves. But were the schools named in the report?
Yes, some schools have been named. I didn't want to mention them. Some schools have been named in the report. For example, when I talked about the school with 2,295. This school is Tamale Islamic Science Senior High School with a population of 2,295 students. They share only one toilet, toilet facility.
Okay, hold on. Which school is this? Tamale what? Senior High School?
Tamale Islamic Science Senior High School.
Islamic Science Senior High School.
Senior High School, yes.
Senior high school, and they have.
Yeah, there are other schools that have been mentioned. Basic schools, inclusive, all those schools are basic, Prezi, ACTS. A student population of 133. They share only one toilet, which is also not in a good shape. So all these schools have been mentioned in the report.
So, so if we take Tamale Senior High School, for example, of a population of 2,500, you say?
2,295.
295.
Yeah.
And both female and male use one toilet facility.
That's what the report says.
Okay.
And I'm not surprised. And you see, every year, and this thing I've been talking about for some time, every year the Ministry of Education collects data from all schools at the pre-tertiary level. We call it the annual school census survey. Every year they collect data on that, and that's the data I've been working on over the years. And it clearly indicates to you that the extent of deterioration among secondary schools is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
The schools continue to deteriorate in terms of the provision of these educational resources. So it is not surprising. It's not anything new. And if you are a watcher of the space, you would know that this is something that's really troubling when it comes to our case in secondary education.
All right. So, what would be your, coming from your background, the Institute for Educational Studies, what exactly will you tell government today? We know that there's a focus to build schools, but this is also sort of an emergency the schools are going through, or situation the schools are going through, and it's a gap that must be filled as soon as possible when it comes to, the surroundings and the health facilities of the school. What do you think must be done now?
We need to track the provision of these resources. We need to track the distribution of these resources, and that is what we need to do. Fortunately, the ministry is in a position to know all this based on the data that they have. The same data is what I also have. So all that you need to do is to have a system whereby, by a click, you know that this school have these resources, they do not have these resources, and then you prioritize the distribution of those resources to these schools. Most at times, the decision to build more schools, the decision to expand facilities are not based on science. They are not based on the data. They are based on political expediency. And in some instances, when a media house like your Metro TV will air a story of a deprived school, then the ministry or whoever is supposed to work on that will walk in. But there is enough data sitting at the Ministry of Education to let them know that these schools do not have these kinds of resources. Let me tell you, the Ministry of Education collects data to the extent that they know the number of teachers in every single school in this country. They know schools that do not have teachers. They know schools that do not have the required number of teachers. They know schools that have buildings that need major repairs. They know schools that have buildings that need minor repairs. These data are always collected by the Ministry of Education. So we don't need to reinvent it. We don't need to do anything so huge. All we need to do is to go back to the data, develop a system whereby by a click, we will know the number of schools that do not have the required resources according to UNESCO standards, UNICEF standards, and then find ways and means to prioritize the distribution of these resources for these schools. That is one of the surest way we'll be able to deal with this. But if we continue to do the distribution based on political affiliation, our constituency, the schools in our constituency, we are going to supply them or for populism, then we are not going to deal with this problem head on.
Because, I mean, I personally, this is not first to me. It's not new, really. We've been discussing when it comes to the resources in the schools for many years now. I'm not sure what exactly we can do to indicate how this is a situation that calls for an emergency approach. Because I think at some time back 2 years ago or so, when we were discussing the challenges with the free SHS policy, these issues came up. The students were complaining how some of them were sleeping in places where they were not supposed to be sleeping, how they were eating themselves even on the compound of the schools and all. So it is really a health threat that is facing the school. So it's an emergency that must be attended to as soon as possible. I'm not sure how you have access to those in authority to indicate to them how dire the situation is.
Yes, so you know, when as an academic, you need to make sure that you publish some of these things. And as I said, these things have been published by international journals that have made available to the authorities. They've seen the reports, and I think that if they want to work on it, they will work on it. I'm still in touch with, I was in touch with the previous and the current managers of education. We're still talking. There should be a way to deal with this. We need to prioritize some of the schools. All the schools will need help, but we need to prioritize some of the schools. Schools where there are no toilets, we can't list them. Schools where there are no access to water, we can't list them, and immediately find ways and means to address them. And then those that have but need to get more, we can attend to them later. And that's what we mean by equity in the resource distribution across schools. So we are still in touch, we are talking, we're hoping that they will see this as an emergency because, as you said, it poses a health threat to the students. And the earlier we deal with this, the better it will be for the provision of quality education to our children in the schools.
All right.
But you see, one other thing that we are even not talking about, which I happen to notice recently, is the fact that TEU is on strike. Now, and maybe you might want to send the reporters around the schools and find out how is the sanitation situation on our campuses, and then how are the students being fed? Because the teaching staff are members of TEU. If they are on strike, how do the students feed? This is something that you might want to find out. You see something interesting happening in our schools because of the TEU strike.
The TEU strike?
Yes.
Okay. That caught me off guard. I haven't even thought about that. So I'm sure we will have to send our cameras into the schools to see how the students are coping with the situation.
Yes.
But we are also dealing with the situation of school placement system. GES has released a statement of extortion, and Ministry of Education is also indicated that it is investigating the allegations. What have you also picked?
Well, I think that it's a good move by the ministry. Unfortunately, it's not new. I think one media house over the years have done a whole documentary on placement for sale. It was all over the place. It means that there's a market for it, and that is where some of our analysis of problems stem from. If there's a market for it, you don't only want to ask parents not to patronize that market, because I've said that you don't blame a parent who wants a good education for the world. It's not the fault of the parent that I want my child to go to a school A or school B.
Yeah.
What you have to do is to make sure that your schools are of a certain standard, that any school that a ward is placed in, the parents would at least be comfortable. So it shouldn't be a point of somebody extorting money from any person. I don't think it's that. It's simply a fact that people feel that they need to get good education for their students, and therefore, because there's a market for that, because there's demand for that, people will definitely come in and supply. And who are those involved in this? Because myself, for example, I will not have access to the system to be able to place somebody who wants to go to school A. So those who have access to the system are those that the investigation should technically start from. Sometimes we try in trying to solve a problem, we try to paint a picture as if the issue is outside the system, the institution that is working on it. Those who are taking money from parents who genuinely want their children to be placed in schools are those within the system. So I think that if the ministry wants to solve this, fine, there is a number for people to call when people demand money for. But if a parent, and I read this online, if I'm a parent and I can get a particular school for my ward and I need to pay this, that's the only way I'll be able to get. Most parents will do that.
I think that's what's been happening, because I was about asking you, how do you think parents, students end up in the hands of persons who take money from them and then turn around and say, oh, people are taking money for it, but you have some who also try to use other means of getting certain schools for their wards if they didn't get the schools they really want.
Yes, that is the point. But at the end of the day, the parent is committing a crime, fine, but there is somebody who is enabling the crime, because that parent will not be able to go into the system to change whatever it is. And how the system is designed, anybody who changes a school, let's say the track, you can track that particular line and know that this person is the one who did ABC. So if the ministry is very serious in dealing with this, and I'm not saying that it's a current phenomenon, it's something that's been with us for some years now. If this current administration is very serious in dealing with it, they should check the track of all those who have access to the school placement system and see, and they will be able to know that A, B, C, D are those who are changing the schools for the students. And when they start dealing with that source, I know that the other source, which is the parent angle, will be dealt with. That is one angle of it. The other point is that the mode of school selection, I've said this, the mode of school selection for me is problematic because students select the schools based on an anticipated performance. It is not their real performance that they are using to select the schools. It is an anticipated performance. Now, the moment the child selects A, he is psychologically and emotionally attached to the school.
Yeah.
And some parents will tell you that if they don't get the school, the children don't really feel like going to any other school.
That is a good point you're making. So what do you want us to do? If we're not doing it on anticipation of results, what's the right thing to do?
There are two models that we can adopt. One, you either wait for the results to be released and the children knowing their results will now want to select a particular school that fits their results. Or you know that when they select these schools, there is a window that is open for them after the result is released. And what that they do is to confirm their details. They can't edit it, they can't change anything. If waiting for the results to be released is too difficult for the ministry to do, the next thing they can do is that when that window is open, there should be opportunity for parents to edit the schools that they have selected. You see, we are having this conversation not because of current situation. I'm looking at 2026. Do we want to solve this problem? Because every other thing we have done, in terms of changing the software we've done, we are doing a lot of sensitization. We are chasing those who are alleged to be selling the school placement system. Every other thing we've done. What we have not done so far is to change the model of school selection in terms of pre-results to post-results. And I think that if we want to deal with this situation, we can't add that model to the other interventions that we are doing to deal or reduce the number of lines. Else, it might seem that people are benefiting from the cues that appear in the so-called resolution centers. People are benefiting from the challenges in the system, and therefore they are not ready to deal with the situation and ensure that at least at the end of the day, we will reduce this problem by 80 to 90%.
All right. I just wanted to ask you this. Let's go back to the situation with the schools in terms of resources or lack of resources. Before these assessment reports are done, we also have, policy implementers. We give contracts to companies to build, facilities for schools or to build school facilities. Do they use the global standards that we always set for schools?
Ideally, they are supposed to use that, but that is the inspection of these resources falls within the mandate of NASIA, what we call the National Inspectorate Authority, an agency under the Ministry of Education. It is their duty to ensure that.
Can you mention that again? National what?
National Inspectorate Authority. We call it NASIA.
Okay, NASIA.
They are the agencies responsible for checking or inspecting our school buildings and everything, the resources in there, the nature of teaching and learning that is going on. It's a very big thing, and they also release reports every now and then. And if you take their reports, you would see that they collaborate most of the things that we have already found on the ground. So it is their duty to do that. I don't know the sense to which they are resourced, but I think that if we want to deal with this and check in terms of, as you said, those who win contracts to build schools and other things, I think in recent times you've heard the president say that no school will be built without the provision, addition of teachers' bungalows and other things. Those are the things that we need to push. And as we do that, NASIA should be ready to ensure that these basic amenities that makes students feel comfortable within the space that they are supposed to have their academic work ongoing are provided. And where they are not, NASIA has got the authority to bring that particular school or the authorities in that particular school to book.
Wow. They have such powers.
Yes.
Executive Secretary of the Institute for Educational Studies, IFES Ghana, Peter Antipati. Thank you for your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
All right. I will use this opportunity to welcome Rosemond Obing, who is a presidential staffer. She's joined us here in the studio. Rosemond, you're welcome. And good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
Please, I'm very well.
How's work? How's work?
I can sense some mischief. Work is good. Work is good. I think we are on course. The government is on course. And we all can attest to that. Loretto can attest to that. You can attest to that. The people who gave us the overwhelming mandate can also attest to that. So we are on course.
I see.
There's a turnaround in the economy, and we can all see that.
Okay. Okay. Before you go on that tangent, let me take a breather. I'll take a break. I'll quickly come back to the guests, and we'll talk more on educational matters that have been raised. And then we'll also get into the issue of Galamsey, definitely. We'll be back shortly.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Femi Kalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Femi once now.
Hey, is that you?
Improve car.
Yeah.
Captain was key to double the action. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Femi sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Tum preko.
Healthy soil is where every great harvest begins. At ACAP, we turn waste into wealth, producing rich organic compost made right here in Ghana for our farmers and our future. Whether you are planting small or big, ACAP compost improves your soil, boosts your yields, and saves you money. Even in your own home garden, give your soil life naturally. ACAP compost, from waste to wealth.
Promo. Your most preferred estate partner is given a massive 20% discount on land sale. Yes, for our Founders Day promo, Estate Masters is offering this special discount for outright purchases up till the end of September 2025.
Purchase your tracks today.
This cuts across all our available sites, and upon purchase, you get to enjoy a free indenture and free site plan. Our site visits are also free, so rush now and secure a plot of land while this offer lasts. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Yeah, you go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky, everybody go be the luckiest.
That Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you put it with a so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back to the program. We're still on Good Morning Ghana. Let me welcome Rosemond Obing, once again, presidential aide, and she's joined us here on the platform. Rosemond, you're welcome once again. Laura too is also still with us. Now, we spoke with Peter Antipati on the situation with secondary schools. Some reports that have been released by the Auditor General and, of course, the Ghana Statistical Service, still hammering on the lack of resources. That's basic resources like toilet facilities in schools. And you have schools of high population, some with no toilet facilities, others with just one toilet facilities, and it's not helping the students at all. And we also dealt with the situation with the school placement system. Peter is recommending that the placement system that is done, on somewhat expectations of what you wish your results will be, and then it comes, your results are different, and then it makes the placement system very cumbersome and challenging because you didn't get the results that you were anticipating you will get. So it gets to mean that the schools may not pick you, you have to choose other schools, and then people decide to cash in. That's where the problem is coming from. So he's recommending different models to be used going forward. I'll welcome our guest once again, and Rosemond, I'll start with Laura too. I was here with her before when the interview actually started. So Laura too, I know you're very passionate about, school stuff and how the educational systems sometimes gets quite challenging. What do you pick of what Peter said in the conversation we had with him?
Good morning, Annie, and good morning to our viewers. When Peter was talking, I was trying to trace the reports he was
making reference
to, and it was difficult getting the specific report from the statistical service department. As a service
assessment report.
Because some of these reports.
Okay, the Ghana Statistical Service is essential services report.
Ghana Statistical Service has a lot of reports. I mean, apart from the population and housing census, which is very popular, but the last one was in 2021. Mm-hmm. Then they also have the Ghana Demographic Health Survey. That's also done periodically. Then they have other reports that they have. And I think even for the DGHS, it was the latest is, I think, 2022. But be as it may, these issues that are being raised are not peculiar to just our schools.
So the last time the Ghana Statistical Assessment, Essential Service Report was released was 2021.
Okay.
Following which he has done his own report.
Was it part of the PHC?
I think so.
Yeah, because those reports, access to essential services,
yes, so it is,
are usually part of the PHC.
PHC, residential proximity to essential services reports.
You know, they have different parameters they use to gain. So they even have access to water, quality water, and all those things. So in the 2021, I think was about, there was it indicated about 76 or so % of Ghanaians were at risk of drinking water with fecal matter. I don't know if you remember. So these issues are not peculiar. But one thing I wanted to know is these schools that he's mentioning, are they public schools or private schools? Was the data just on public schools or private schools? And some of those things can help. I've maintained that health, education, social services are some of the key things that should not be politicized in this country. And if my memory serves me right, there was a WASH compact that was signed in 2024 between the government of Ghana and the UN. Don't know how far it's been implemented now. Maybe those in government can let us know. But when it comes to issues with sanitation, I remember when Dr. Bamia was talking about toilets and all those things. I remember how our compatriots in government now poo-pooed it. But these are some of the data that inform some of the interventions, no matter how fickle you may think it sounds. These are some of the things that brings up some of these interventions, and we all need to pay attention to them. Like where I live, some time back, we used to get a Ghana water supply, I think a maximum of 2 days a week. Now I haven't really paid attention because we're virtually buying water every week. But even as at as at March, we're buying, when I moved there about 2 or 3 years ago, a tank was 130 cedis. And it moved to 150 cedis. Now, it's 250 cedis. How many people can confidently buy a tank of water a week, every other week, even if it's a month, for 250? And those are some of the things we need to be looking at. These are some of the things that bring about cholera and all its attendant issues. And I think the government of the day should pay attention to some of these, not just the schools, health facilities. I mean, how many public institutions can you confidently go and say you use the washroom and you'll be okay? A few. If they are not locked up and they are available, it's difficult to use them. And we pick most of our issues or diseases from those places. Yesterday, I was telling a friend of mine, even where we wash our cars, if you don't pay attention, the same duster or cloth they use for cleaning the exterior of the car, cleaning the tires that have been through all kinds of things, is the same duster they use to clean your interior. It dries up, you inhale it. So these little things are things that we all need to pay attention to and help those responsible to make it work. Now let's come to the school placements, which is very key because the secondary school level or the senior high school level is a very critical point in every child's life. It's your the level that defines whether you go further or not. And the challenges. I saw the statement from GES, and I thought it should have been more informative than it is. Yes, we all know it's free. The placement is free. We all know we are implementing free SHS, right? So all the other services that comes with it are free. But the allegations that are being leveled by parents, how far were those ones? And it's not like it's new, but it looks like this has taken an upgraded format. I mean, in years past, you hear, okay, people have paid money, but it wasn't this high. I mean, that's like 2 years ago, a year ago, you hear that someone says, oh, I paid $3,000 to do it. This is not to say we should encourage those things, but I've paid $3,000 or $2,000 to do it. But you are hearing allegations of $17,000, $12,000. What is our minimum wage in this country? That people have to cough out $15,000, $17,000, $12,000, $9,000 just to get their children placed in schools. There's also this.
They're paying as much?
Yes, that's what's alleged is being done. So that is what the GES should be telling us. And people making these allegations, some have messages to show, some have. I remember, was it last year or 2 years ago, the Minister of Education then had calls to bring in the police or so, if my memory serves me right. 17,000, 12,000, 9,000. I mean, according to the school you want. Those are some of the things the GES needs to be telling us, not just release a blanket statement telling parents
I'm not sure
to
the
use
information
the
you picked.
placement
Those
system.
who are able to take money from people,
yes.
Do they have access to the portal where they now place the awards?
I can know the GES because people have
where they
access.
wish they would be.
There's a placement center. People have access. People at a certain level also have access.
Okay.
Who has access? Who is doing this? These people making the allegations. Where are they? Those are the things GES should be telling us now because it's quite alarming. Yes, people did it in the past. Some were called to book, some were never caught. But this is just another. And I mean, from what the same statistics that GES released or statistics that I've come across, I think about 82% of the students that sat for BC qualified. And so far there's some 18 or about 17 or 20% that haven't been placed properly. Even the 82% that, no, about, even out of the 500 that qualified, over 500,000 that qualified, about 400 and something have been placed properly. That's about 82%. Even those ones, those that have been placed, there are complaints about some being made day students far away from where they live. Some opted to be boarders. So some of these things needs to be explained properly so that the panic, the worry and all those things can at least be toned down and worked on properly. Because, I mean, it doesn't sound too good with all the stress. Parents are spending quite some time at the center. And one thing I also want to know is there was another allegation that someone said, even though the placement is going on, if you go and pay at the school, some of the schools, they admit your ward. The GS needs to be able to throw light on this because, I mean, if people are doing that, then definitely whatever exercise you're doing at the center, whatever corrections you are doing will not do much because then people know that I can go. And that's what brings a lot of the issues because obviously most parents complaining will not be able to raise, but they'll be forced to go and take loans and all that because they don't no parent can deal with the state of their child when it's like all their friends are
in school
and they are not. It gets a bit overwhelming.
My friends were in school. I hadn't gotten any letter or notice for my admission. I went straight to my third choice alone. My grandmother had, I live with my grandma.
Yeah.
And she had traveled. I think she was going to buy some items for me for school, something like that. And I was home. I just took the independent decision. Pick a car, go to the school. I went straight to NIFA. I said, I'm looking for the headmaster. I think I'll tell my story one day. So I'm looking for the headmaster.
But then there was no placement system.
No, there was.
There was no placement system.
No, when I was
there was a process of school selection. We didn't have a centralized placement
okay, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
we
sure.
Didn't have the
I'm sure, yeah. So it's not like you
remember those days, because I remember you couldn't even choose. It became problematic if you chose schools from different regions, because all the heads of institutions come to one central point in the region. So it's like if you, let's say, you chose schools in central region, you chose Wesley Girls, you chose maybe in Franciman or another school, you chose Agri or National. Once Wesley Girls doesn't pick you, it's easy for them to place your forms in the next school. But if you choose a school from Central region, go and choose a school from your forms may be. So some of these things also inform the centralized placement system where you can choose schools from all over the country so that you are not limited in your choices.
All right.
But if this is happening, if people have to circumvent the system and go and do that, because I remember when I was going to secondary school then, some parents had calls to go to where their kids' school, first choice school was, and move it themselves to the which shouldn't be done. But out of frustration, they go and do those things. And it shouldn't be this stressful.
Right.
It shouldn't at all. And the GES needs to be able to, that the statement they release, I don't think gives
it's a little light
to parents who are going through all this stress.
But don't forget that they've still given you, use the portal or come to the center. I think they've given 3 different options.
But these complaints are coming from parents who went to the center.
Well,
because some, it's not that they haven't been placed, but it's like living in Accra and your child probably being posted to Damango and being made a day student. Right.
Yeah.
How are you going to manage that?
Okay, so
some of them, that's their complaint.
It says that the GES has established official transparent process for placement. Parents and guardians are advised to use only the computerized school selection and placement system, and then also that's a CSSPS portal, and then also resolution centers. There are resolution centers in the regions.
So these, where are the informations and the videos and the complaints we are hearing? Well, they are from the resolution centers. Parents are,
and then GES communications channels.
I think I heard one woman said the child, I think, had been given day, and it wasn't feasible for their, but they were told to go back. Nothing could be done about it. Yes. Okay. So these are some of the issues that the statements from Ghana Education Service should be addressing to give some parents some respite and some confidence that they'll be sorted out.
Let me engage you. What do you make of it? I mean, well, it's a challenge that is persistent, actually. It keeps coming up almost every year, and it looks like we're not finding lasting solutions to it.
All right. So I think that, first of all, I would commend the gentleman. I think he's the executive secretary of Institute of Educational Studies. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so we need to commend them. He's a private person, if I'm correct. You know, so we need to commend them, because when they come up with some of these things, then it helps the government to stand on their toes. So I believe that, first of all, it's important to, commend him. And with the challenges he spoke about, aside from the placement, he spoke about the needs of the students. So I believe that there's a need to do a comprehensive needs assessment, you know, an allocation, and that is the role of the Ministry of Education and the GS. So there's a need for them to, you know.
In fact, he mentioned under the Ministry of Education,
okay,
there is a National Inspectorate Authority.
Oh yes, there is.
And
that's an agency.
Yes. I mean, it's an authority.
Yes.
So this is your first time of hearing about NASIA?
No, they are there.
No, I actually hear they are NASIA.
Yeah, so she's just saying there's a need for. They have.
But I didn't know they have so much power.
Well, they have a lot of power.
I mean, so why?
Yes. So what he's seeking to say is that they need to, you know, beef it up. You get it? There's always more room for improvement. Because if the
I don't think the need is to beef it up. The need is for them to work. They are not working.
No, please. I think that...
They are not working.
Annie, if you say they are not working, I think that will be completely undermining them. There's more room for improvement. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Of course, they've been working. But this is shining out from a gentleman's, you know, survey of the research he had done. And so we embrace it as a government. So there's a need for, you know, beefing up. And also, there's also a need for strategic budgeting and allocation of the resources. Because from what he said, it has to do with some selected schools. He was even quite skeptical in putting out some of the names of the schools, if you recollect.
Yeah.
But I know that if he is with the right stakeholders, of course, he believes this is a public forum, he will definitely open up. He will surely talk about, you know, some of the schools and, you know, go into the in-depth research he has done. So I think that after the needs allocation, it then boils down to how we do the budgeting and the allocation. He spoke about water, food, and so many other things. And so there's a need, you know, for extensive allocation and also being very strategic. It's important because from what he's saying, the budget allocation cannot be flat. After we identify the needs or we do a proper needs assessment, then we know that this particular school needs this. This one needs more than this school. So I think that is how it has to go. And there's
but the reset government or the government on the agenda of reset,
of course,
must do this immediately. We know that there is also, every government wants to build schools. And, and sometimes we are so fixated on we want to build schools.
No, we are not fixated on it. We even spoke about giving out quality education. And so we are not...
As Peter mentioned.
You get it. So that is our focus. And so we are not just interested in building schools. And of course, we've done it before. During the Mahama government, with education minister, with our vice president, who was then education minister, we saw how proactive we were with, you know, putting up school buildings, you know, and all that. So that is not out of the conversation. That is not out of the equation. But what he has sought to do now is to talk about the lacuna that we need to pay attention to. And so we are going to always embrace, you know, opinions as a government. And so what I'm saying is that we need to critically pay attention to the needs assessment. That is when you know that perhaps Odogono Senior High School has a need for, you know, a particular amenity vis-a-vis Infantiman Girls Senior High School. That is my alma mater, by the way. You see, so that is what we need to do as a government. We also need to be very strategic in the budgeting. Because when you are strategic, you know that I can't give the same, you know, I can't give the same amount of money or whatever is needed, amenities or resources, the same, you know, to every school. That is when you have done a proper needs assessment. And of course, there's one thing we always downplay, and that is evaluation and monitoring. We need to also be very critical in that area, because I believe that once we're able to do the needs assessment, once we're able to allocate resources based on which is more strategic, then we need to do a lot of monitoring to evaluate what we have been able to do already. So I'm very happy you even mentioned the particular agency that is responsible for this to ensure that the needs of our students, are properly taken care of. And so I would embrace whatever he's done. I had not heard about him until today, but I think that he should be encouraged because this is a government, as you already said, we are focused on resetting, and we are very open-minded when it comes to, taking opinions from people. We are always taking our notes. We are always welcoming constructive ideas. And so for me, I believe that we should embrace whatever the gentleman is doing. And also about the school placement, I think that we need a total overhauling of the system that we inherited from Loreto's government. You understand? Because
from the
this
previous
is
government.
Well, anyway, I would.
It was your government as well.
And you are very mischievous.
No,
and so there's a need for
a government is everybody's government, unless you're talking about
anyway. Oh yes, in that context, I accept. Okay, so there's a need for us to do a total overhauling of the system. How transparent is it? I personally think that we should have a very high automated system. That is what I think. A very high automated system that would take care of, grades and the schools you need to go to. I heard him saying something about maybe that I may have to differ or disagree with him, that perhaps the children will have to come out, their grades will have to come out first, then we tell them to go and select the schools.
Yes, because they're selecting on anticipation.
But I don't think that is visible because children or young people would always crave to go to the A-class schools. That even becomes worse. They call their friends, what grade did you have? I had 06. Then another person says, I have 12. Then automatically it even dampens their spirit. So for me, I will not buy into that premise. And so I believe that the whole system should be very and highly automated, more than what we experience now. Now everything has evolved. Technology is always going a top notch higher. So we need to find the very, very best system and use it. That is what I think. That is what I think, Annie. Because once the technology is top notch, then the human check-ins, or maybe humans checking in and cross-checking, if whatever needs to be done is being done, the interference becomes quite minimal.
I'm always for trying different things.
Okay.
Even though sometimes if things are not done rightly, let's just do that. But when you are approaching, a challenge with different solutions, it helps because you're just doing try and error. The one that fits, you stick with it. So we've done this for many years in terms of doing anticipation of results. And based on that, select our schools, right? I don't think that when I was even selecting my school, I was doing anticipation of any results. I just know that I wanted this, I wanted that. And I was sure I was going to get any of them that I selected. And I was on a crappy rate.
Are you saying you were not looking at the A-class school? Let's be sincere.
I don't regard any school as A-class.
Well, that is your opinion, but most people, generally,
that's fine.
They are always looking at the top school.
I've always been the person that...
Okay.
And you see, we implant things in the minds of the kids. Okay. And it's not the best for our system. When you go into more of the developed schools, they don't do these things. Where you are making the child think that your school is better than this one, or your school is better than that one, or that school is better than this. It's not. That's a discussion for a different
another day. But
I'm saying that we have tried. I think his suggestion is we've tried it for many years. We've seen the challenges that it gives off. Let's also try another model where you are choosing a school based on now your results you have gotten, not on anticipation.
I beg to differ.
So that there is some, and he's saying that there should be some room provided for the placements to be done after the results have come out. And once you have in mind of class A schools, class B schools, class C, and class D, F, Z, based on the results, you do the placements. Is that not going to be easier?
Annie, everybody wants the best in life. Our problems would even escalate if the results come out before the schools. That is what I'm anticipating. Because even now that your performance, which you already, know, and the results, the schools coming out, and you now have to go and choose, I don't think it's the best. It would be very, very chaotic, because now there's minimal work to do because you've already chosen the schools from A to B to C to D. The A's are considered the creme de la creme, right up until maybe the 5th school. You understand? And look at even the challenges we are experiencing. So how much more they are now going to do that selection? It's just going to be, in my opinion, it's going to waste a lot of time. It's going to waste a lot of time. And so I think that we should maintain the old system, which is choose the schools, go to the school, go to the examination hall, make your parents proud. However, I'll still come back to the system. Whatever system we are using, I believe there should be an upgrade. There should be an upgrade. And it should be top automated and very high as far as technological advance. Yes, that is it.
The technology.
You see, that will reduce a lot of human, interference, or bring it to the minimum. Yes, because you can't always fault people for wanting the best for their award, and even for the children themselves, they always want the best. Yes, so that is what I'll have to say.
Well, that's not something that I'll necessarily challenge.
No, we're talking about. Let me say that I proudly own my government, so it doesn't matter. I don't run away when I get stuff.
Which government do you own?
She said my government.
We all own every government. Every government that has come to pass in this country. We all own it with our full chest.
We proudly own it. But
you're already owning it. You're happy.
We're talking about, the National Schools Inspectorate Authority used to be just a body. It didn't have. It was just like a Road Safety Commission. Now it's an authority. But the act was passed when 2020. Right? But when you come into government, because if as we sit here, today is 29 September, we are still talking about needs assessment, then we have a problem. So all the things that have been done since January, or let's say even February, what was it based on? But when an institution is clothed in with new authority and new powers, it takes a bit of time. You need to build capacity. You need to build the systems. So it will also be nice to let for us to know where the institution lies now, because I know Nasia did a lot of work. I have a friend who runs a private school, and she didn't know that where she was, they could even locate her, because they digitalized the registration system. So it makes it easy for you to enforce those regulations and all that. I think it was called SLIMS or so. I've gotten the full meaning, but they digitalized the registration system and all. So it will also be good to know in the context of the quality of our schools and the quality of that. I think even in the Act, there's some collaboration with NACA and all those things. So NASIA is supposed to cover all those things. Act 1023 or so was passed in 2020. So we really need to take some of these things serious. And one of the fundamental things that worries us in this country is the priority we don't give to regulation. Check all regulatory bodies. Probably apart from FDA now, because of the kind of things they regulate. Even that, it took some time. It used to be what? Food and Drugs Board. Standards Board. So once we start clothing our regulatory institutions with that authority, some of these things will fall in.
Do you realize that accidents on the roads have increased?
Come again?
Do you realize accidents on the roads have increased?
Oh, just today I came across some statistics and some news item that, for instance, Medina. I was asking you when there was that agitation
when the students was knocked down.
And I'm told, I read that the military have been deployed to Medina because 58 people have died because of the lack of use of the footbridge. So sometimes we agitate for some of these things and we don't make use of them, and it becomes our undoing.
Because the point I'm trying to make is all these institutions cry for. I remember when I kept having interviews with the Road Safety. Was it Road Safety Commission?
No, it's the Road Safety
Commission at that time. Okay. And every time we discuss the issues, the request or suggestions was, oh, if they make us an authority, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll be able to do that. They made us an authority, and we are worse off.
Oh, that's not.
What is not what?
That's not. What statistics are you using?
Just take the statistics
because
released.
In the last
take the
8
statistics
months,
released
it's
today.
Increased as against statistics 2023.
Normally they release their statistics half year.
Yeah.
Half year.
Yeah.
Take the half year.
Half year is more than last year.
You check the act.
No, I've looked at the statistics.
The act
half year this year is more than last year.
Same time compared with the same period.
Yes.
Check the last year you're talking about, same period. Compare it to the previous release. The same.
Probably we need to do that.
Go all the way back to 2020 and check the statistics when the act was passed. So I'm wondering, okay,
could you also be
what is this authority all about?
Could you also
Food
be
and Drugs Authority? Food and Drugs Authority.
Could you also let me just ask this question before you continue. Could you also be that because now they are clothed in those powers and have the capacity, these things are being reported better?
Oh, no. I'm not going to. I don't think I will rely so much on increase in reports
sometimes
that
you
are
need
gathered.
To go deeper into what the statistics are, what informed the statistics that are being churned out.
But
so you need to go further
when it comes
into
to,
the reasoning,
when it comes to, for example,
what the recommendations are, what the causes are, before drawing a conclusion.
Accidents. The road accidents recorded this year, say half the year that was released, are not accidents that could hide if it was not an authority, if the institution was not made an authority. There are accidents that anywhere you could see that accidents have happened. The same spots where accidents were happening and were recording in the past, the same spots, the accidents have increased in same spots.
Yeah, so, like for instance,
it's not
the Accra Cape Coast Road.
Yes.
You get to a point where usually the curbs, there are indications. 10 people died here. This, that. All those are statistics.
And this same spot you're talking about, the same years of records have shown an increase, a shoot up. So I will not say that because we made an authority, they receive more reports.
Does it, you see, that's what also comes to collaboration amongst government institutions or state institutions. Yes, Road Safety Authority needs to do what it has to do based on the act that brought it into being. But Road Safety Authority cannot work in isolation. And that was one of the things that my government, let me put it in that context for the purposes of the conversation, was big on. Collaboration. You never went for any media review. You never went for any annual meeting for a ministry or a sector, and it didn't come up.
All right.
Because that collaboration is important. The police come in, the DVLA come in, all the institutions that have to ensure that our roads are safe and all those things need to collaborate and do that. So when sometimes you pick it in isolation, that's why when I was talking about NASIA, I mentioned NACA.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely GES comes in because GES does it's like, even when you mention schools, the first institution that comes to mind is Ghana Education Service. It's just like health. Apart from health insurance, all those other institutions, when you mention health, apart from the ministry, the first institution that comes up is Ghana Health Service.
Okay.
So that collaboration also needs to be there. And the data that we also use should be also
Okay, so let me quickly just say this before we move on. I think it is very retrogressive. Anybody who would say there's no need for needs assessment is very retrogressive.
Needs assessment is a continuous.
Exactly.
It's a continuous.
Because that is the only way you can improve your outcome.
Then you don't know what you're talking
so
about.
So how can you say that? I'm so surprised what Loretta is saying.
You don't understand it.
How can you just say that there's no need for needs assessment for an improved educational system?
What are you talking
or with
about?
our placement system? How can you just downplay it and just say that? I'm just so surprised. I'm just totally thrown off.
Do you need assessment when you are implementing?
No.
What informs your implementation?
Oh, there's a need.
What's your,
the guy is saying that there's a lacuna, and he's brought out some things based as survey. And I'm saying that there's a need for needs assessment, and that will inform the resource allocation.
Sometimes you don't understand.
That will inform the resource allocation. So if you say that there's no need for needs assessment, that is a retrogressive way of thinking. Because then how can you improve your outcome? Or whatever we intend to achieve with regards to the school placement system.
Don't use terms you don't understand.
I'm just so...
What makes you think she doesn't understand what she's saying?
Why would we, what are we talking about? Where are we?
I think she's taking the retrogressive personal.
Okay,
so she needs
you are project.
We should say that.
You are. I'll come back to you.
Show.
But Laratu, you are. But she but she had her time and you were interjecting.
No, I came in after I was told to talk.
I came in. Want to have a civil
I have had my 10. There's no references to her.
No, I came in after you were done.
She's made references to me 3 times.
No, you made
already.
reference to her.
Hold on. I didn't make reference to her.
You made reference to her in terms of she, requesting or no, Laratu, hold on. She actually said there's a need for needs assessment.
Yes,
and you criticize that. Hold on. You criticize that, saying that implementation has already started. So there's no need for needs assessment.
Exactly.
And she's trying to correct you that you cannot say that there's no need for needs assessment. There's always a I even added my voice that needs assessment is always continuous. Even when
you said that. If there could be a playback, that is what she said.
Did you hear me?
And when she was talking,
how can you say that?
So did you hear me?
You have to be fair.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me?
In terms of what?
9 months into your implementation, you're talking about needs assessment.
But is there any time frame for needs assessment?
I'm not talking about any time frame. You decide to do something. What do you do first? You assess the needs of the people, depending on what you want to implement. You assess the needs of the people. What we are doing now, what Peter is suggesting, all the suggestions that are coming on is an aspect of monitoring and evaluation of what you set out to do. So we shouldn't throw terms here that we don't understand.
No, that's then you don't understand.
No.
Then you don't understand.
If you have a program, right? Even you have a program, right? If you have a program and you even decide to projectize that project, the components, the project components, all have their needs assessment done, depending on when they will start. What are we discussing here? What did Peter say? It's the state of the schools now. Who comes in? It's a function of monitoring and evaluation. You set out to put a school. That is the need of the people based on the assessment you made. How is the school functioning? Do you need to upgrade something? Maybe when you started the school, there were only 10 children. So 1 toilet was okay. Now the school has grown. What will inform that? The number, the usage, probably the number of infections, if I may, that the school is recording. You've monitored. You do an evaluation of it. Then based on that, you implement the recommendations. If it's a project, you close it. If it's a program, you review and continue. That is what I'm talking about. So if we are talking about something that has already been implemented, you are talking about needs assessment now. That is where I was coming from. I never said needs assessment
in your estimation,
is not important.
Hold on. In your estimation,
you can't, how do you
in your estimation,
something?
I don't know which part of her. Okay, I don't know which part of her statement you're criticizing, but in your estimation, When is needs assessment done?
Needs assessment is before you start whatever you want to start.
And what have they started that they have not done needs assessment?
When you start your show, right? When you start your show, you need your microphone, right? You need your papers, right? Those are standards. You need your guests. Your production team is there. Your floor manager is there. It's not in the middle of the show that you now do an assessment of what you need for your show.
You're wrong. I'm sorry, but
no,
I'm sorry, you're wrong.
It's not in the. Is it in the middle of the show?
I'm sorry, you're wrong. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
What you need?
Yes,
no, Annie. That's why I'm saying that there's a difference between needs assessment and there's a difference between monitoring and evaluation. Jesus. Your production team is monitoring what you're doing. So we start talking. Sometimes
no.
Let me finish. Sometimes you start talking. Hold on. Sometimes you start talking,
sorry.
and there's an issue. Then you realize that
this person needs to come and clarify. I took her time and I gave it to you, and I'm trying
you took what time and gave it to me?
understand the point you're coming from.
You took what time and gave it to me?
She was talking, and I stopped her.
And I was on the floor. I did not interject.
So I wanted you to answer some questions. You cannot say that. No, you see, as we are trying to speak and debate, we're also educating the public.
Exactly.
It is actually untrue to say that you can't do needs assessment in the middle of implementation. You are a project manager.
When they are gaps. How do you do needs? What's your understanding of needs assessment?
You can still do, you see, so you're also questioning.
What's your understanding of needs assessment?
So you're also questioning my understanding of needs assessment.
What's your understanding of needs assessment?
I'm not part of the debate, so let me
let me
take her point. Yes, because
maybe if you explain to me, I can understand. We learn, we relearn,
okay,
we learn.
I'll give her.
So maybe what I know is not
I'll give her the time.
You tell me what it is.
Okay, I'll give her the time, and then when she's done, I'll come in.
So I'll just be quick about it.
Okay.
Since she used the show, so when we are having the show and maybe the cameras are not working, our mics are not working, we can go on break to look at the needs and the gaps to fix it before we come back to the show. Is that what she's saying? Because she spoke about the show. Okay. Can't we go for break and see what has been the default? Return on the show and get back to the show as it's supposed to run. But according to her, when there's a problem with the show, whether the camera is not working, whether the mics are not working, whether something is wrong, we just have to follow through. There's no need for needs assessment. There's no need to identify the gaps. There's no need to correct the wrongs. That is what she's saying. And so I just said that it is very retrogressive for somebody to say or for somebody to think that there's no need for needs assessment when a gap or a challenge has been identified. That is what I said. And I think that she got agitated.
So these are the processes for a needs assessment during a project management.
Yes.
Identify your team's needs. Measure and allocate your resources, which is what you were trying to say, that you can't do a flat rate type of resource allocation to schools. Collect internal information. Gather external information. So at this point, this is an external information. If your government has ever done the needs assessment, this external information.
You inherit a government.
Yes, but this
you inherit a system.
That's not even the point. From Peter's.
Okay, we are going back to Peter's
submission. On Peter's submission, there's an external information that has come in that you need for your continuous implementation of the project. So it means you have to go back to the drawing board. Okay, this is what we've done, this is what we've done. But this has come in. Can we do another needs assessment again to determine
and that is what she's saying.
That is my understanding.
And she's saying that, and that is what she said, there's no need.
And
I'm saying that it is very retrogressive for anybody to think that way. That is what I'm saying. And I think that is where she got agitated.
So the number 5 point in the...
And it is not to attack... Let me say it is not to attack her persona. It's to attack her thinking that needs assessment or continuous needs assessment is uncalled for.
Okay.
And so that is where...
So even in the implementation of the needs assessment, there's also get feedback. Get feedback. That is part of the process in needs assessment. And then you say use your data. That is the last point in a needs assessment procedure. So even in your needs assessment, you need to get feedbacks Which is why
That's what I said, the
sometimes we
government
try
is
to go
welcome, you know, for
outside
opinions.
government
Exactly.
to get, you know, different data and opinions coming from professionals. I think that's a point that we're trying to make. Laura, we have to be on the same page in terms of needs assessment. Needs assessment is allowed. Any point where you feel there's a lacuna, like you said, and then you meet the gap.
No, what I wanted you to explain is, when is needs assessment done?
I even asked you that question because
It's
you were questioning.
It's at the beginning of what you're doing.
It is not
And
always
so
at
when
the
you are
beginning.
headed in the wrong direction, you don't go back.
Listen. So what you're saying
is she
is,
saying?
Please.
What is she saying? This is so retrogressive. I'm not even.
Look at who he's talking about.
Very retrogressive, please. So this is so retrogressive. It's so seriously.
Who is talking about retrogressive?
But you are fixated on a needs assessment at the beginning.
Annie,
where is the beginning?
It's not a matter of fixation. Right. It's not a matter of fixation. You set out to go and do it. This placement thing is not just an isolated case. Kids go to school. So how long is junior high school? Junior high school is 3 years. You know that at the end of the 3 years, these children will sit for BEC. So they're going to school for 3 years. Form 1 is a component of that whole program, if we may. Right. What do they need for Form 1? They finish. You close it. What do they need for Form 2? You finish. You close it. What do they need? And I'm using this in context. When they are done with BEC, what do they do? By our system, they have to go to senior high school.
What's your point?
Right.
What's your point?
After BEC, a placement process needs to take it. Right. What are we talking about? We are talking about the placement process going on. Right. The placement process is going on. There are issues with it. There are recommendations of, okay, let them maybe apply after. Please.
Not just the placement. It has to do with the needs of the school.
If you're talking about retrogression, you must as well leave.
So please, too.
So placement system is in implementation. There are issues. That is why when I was initially talking about placement in our time, you talked about NIFA.
When
then there was no computerized system.
The needs assessment debate we're having
now. There was no computerized system.
Are you making context? No, I don't have all time, Lara. Are you talking about the placement system? Because she was even very much relating to resources that we're talking about in the schools.
There are two components.
It can be done at any point of the project. So she doesn't have a case.
We're talking about the schools, and that's why I said that you identify a community. The community needs a school. Maybe the schools, even in our rules and all that, schools have to be in a certain proximity. Facilities have to be in a certain proximity. Okay. Right. So you identify that this community needs a school. That's why I asked you, is it a public school or is it a private school? All those things come in. But let's say it's a public school. The government or the institution identify that this school has this need.
Okay.
This and this and this are what they need. These are the number of children then.
So are you saying that after government has identified after government has identified all these needs, and then there's another external report that comes up, the government cannot go back to conduct another.
No, that's not what we are saying.
So what are you saying?
That's not what we are saying. That's not what you're saying. You've done that needs assessment during your planning and your design or whatever intervention you want to give to that community.
It can be done at any point of a project.
Nobody is saying it's perfection.
Yeah.
But there's a process, a technical process to some of these things. The school has an issue. The data is in. What intervention do you have to do? That is after you've monitored whatever need you identify from the beginning before you plan that intervention.
All right.
Before you do that.
I will do this.
9 months into an implementation of whatever you want to do, this is what. But never did I say that needs assessment.
You said it, and if we have to play back, that is what you said, and that's why I had to come in.
Okay.
To redirect the retrogressive thought process.
And you set up your mind
because
to
it
come and
gave
listen
me
to yourself.
No, because it gives me. It gives me.
This is what happens.
It gives me your knowledge process. It just automatically lets me know. You know.
That is
what she said.
Points
okay. And if you were to play back the film, you see what she said.
Just because
you said it's not important.
You need to understand.
You said it's not important.
All right, we'll do.
You just said it's not important.
Let's do a needs assessment on Galamsey. Okay. We need a. We'll be back shortly and do needs assessment. We'll be back.
Ebusiafo ye mama kwaba eba Children's Palace. Nkwala nyema nyina fie enye. Yonkwala ntade mani mema nyina ntare nyina wase. Yonkwala shoes, yonkwala duane, yonkwala wipes, yonkwala diapers, yonkwala toys, baby coat. In fact, bibia opama omanyina obenye biwa ase.
Located at East Legon Hills, Nana Chrome KFC. Contact us on 059-6377-172. Children's Palace. Happy children, happy fashion. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Edi asema menya oden o tiantie mu amanfo ada wo hye me boso obeto phone na mama me phone na say dada menya oden
the most surprised man
surprise ben
surprise
hey Kofi papa e phone o iPhone 13 nanya ne
ende me fankofo bi mienu amuko circle ene ba ko ne ka chena dan fa hawa ono odi ni Ghana card eko EBA phone so a otua 40% pen edi ni phone man no a da aka no betua ne kakra Timothy ya me drop na me so me call ho ana me kwanya wo phone de bre on
oh Kofi papa me da say am sure
Wo EBA phones hadie yeton iPhones ne ho akade nyina ye sanso de ma wholesale so ye dealer na so pedodo atua anase afi na wo hye iPhone business na sia braya sia ye hwehwe ye chira kwan e wa Accra Circle Mall any tiptoe lane modern photos in chain American Monso ye ni odor rice ene di nhwenim Kumase ye wedum ejekuma brunsanim obetumi so hu ye e wo www.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini ehu behia se metwa sapapa dia to ama me manfo Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients eno ene bom se ho ban e ma ne sren ne sanso mama hotoso e wo bedwam
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Wabedum, time aso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwaya mabesisia. Abozege. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready. Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji. I'll cause some discomfort. Ah. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At to phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them musa. Try sima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
Back to the program. Let's do Galamsey. Like I said, we're doing a news assessment of the problem that is taking our lives, actually. Daily Graphic says, Galamsey fight, water bodies, forest reserves, now security zones. Now, the government has declared all water bodies and forest reserves as security zones. In the latest measures to root out illegal mining in a country. The declaration forms part of intensified actions in the fight against Galamsey menace, popularly called Galamsey, to secure the country's environment and critical natural resources, mainly rivers, forest reserves, which are currently under heavy violation of Galamsey activities from further destruction. Now, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Kofi Amaboa, announced this at the closing ceremony of a week-long National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat field task force training at the Sunyane Amma Training School last Friday. So the security zones, all water bodies and forest reserves have now been declared a security zone by the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, President John Dramani Mahama. The minister said, quote, "So I charge you with a profound sense of duty and patriotism that any recalcitrant person entering these zones is not merely a trespasser, but an enemy to the state." And if you know you're an enemy to the state, that's treason. If you are considered enemy to the state, it's straight treason. So if it's been declared security zones, stay off. That's why I said it's probably tantamount to, what do you call it, state of emergency. He stated, so Mr. Boas said, the time was up for those who had chosen to exploit the river forest reserves personal again. And he explained that the NAIMOS, that's nice moss, was deployed permanently in the forest reserves and water bodies to protect them from further destruction, stressing that the Galamsey was eating closer to everybody, and that is true. The Informer newspaper actually captured one of my friends we interviewed before he left the country, Mr. Sampene. He said that evils of Galamsey, unborn babies at risk. And then also the custodian has Miracles Abuaji, who says Ghanaians now drink Galamsey polluted water. Miracles Abuaji decries Ghanaians are now drinking polluted water. Nice. Respond. Have you declared a state of emergency in the water body areas?
Have we declared? No, we have
I don't know if it's the right phrase to use.
No,
but
that's very okay. It's a
security zone now.
legitimate concern. You know, we hear people say that they need a state of emergency. Why? Because the Galamsey menace is a very sensitive topic as that. I get quite emotional if I have to talk about where we've come as a country as far as the Galamsey menace is concerned.
If you can just indulge me.
All right.
Annie, good morning. The NDC is bound to succeed in making Ghana a great nation.
Okay.
As for the MPP, they should give us a break.
Okay.
Alhaji Haruna from Ashaman sent this in. Derek, okay, let me move to I won't mention the name, but she said the lady is solid. She can handle it herself. Thank you. This is what it says. Annie, good morning. Laratu understands that today, under President John Dramani Mahama led NDC government, CSOs now have voices to be heard. Mr. Peter Anti has been trumpeting the news for assessment and review for the past 8 years, but you, MPP, told them to shut up, and you want NDC government to follow your path. Never went shall, I don't know what you wanted to write, shall reset Ghana and set higher standards. Okay, we shall reset Ghana and set Ghana and higher standards. The next government to continue. You messed up the educational system, and we are fixing it. So, Seth says, kindly show Laratu some of the placement challenges parents and students went through in the last 8 years. Even Napo accused Mahama of mobilizing and transporting frustrated parents and students to demonstrate at the Black Star Square. The MPP government didn't do anything about it. I remember that accusation. Okay. Let me just pause here and then allow you. Go ahead.
All right. So people need to appreciate what the government is doing. We were given an overwhelming mandate. We have a social contract with the people. They took away the SWAL government because they believed we have the political will to curb the menace. And so there's a need to speak to what we are doing about the Galamsey situation. We listen to the calls of everybody. We are taking note. We hear the cries. We are paying attention. The Catholic Bishop Conference, the Galamsey Hub, freedom fighters, so many people are talking about this. We are listening. We are paying a lot of attention. And so now, as a government, what have we done so far within 8 months? What have we done after the deplorable state that we met our environment? What have we done to curb, to combat the Galamsey menace? Let me reiterate this, Annie. Let me reiterate this. We have not declared a state of emergency now because the two scenarios are different. But even before I go into why we have not yet declared a state of emergency, there's a need for people to appreciate what we have done so far as a government that has the political will, that listens to the cry of people, that recognizes the social contract we have with the people of Ghana. What have we done? Since we came to power, we have not issued a single mining license in our forest areas. I think it's worth noting this. Additionally to that, we had to comprehensively audit all mining licenses, and we identified 55. We've identified 55. In fact, we've identified close to 1,000, but as it stands, we have revoked 55 fraudulent licenses. 900 are in the pipeline to be revoked. These licenses...
To be revoked or reviewed?
Revoked.
Okay, either revoked or
no, this is revoked.
So
55. We realized that there were close to 1,000.
So all these 950,
yes,
they are all under review.
No. The 900 are near completion for revocation.
Oh, okay.
I get it.
Oh, wow.
But we have revoked 55 outright.
Okay.
And the 900 I can see on authority will be revoked in earnest. That is what we came to meet. How do people in right conscience issue fraudulent mining licenses for party cronies who have no or little idea, any idea at all, in responsible mining? So we had to revoke it. And as we all know, published by a sister station, that from 1988 to 2016, licenses that had been issued for mining were not even up to 100. They were about 98, 99. But how do you explain that between 2017 to December 2024, people had issued licenses? It is interesting to even know that the licenses were even issued from 2022 to 2024. Over 2,151. This is crazy. Why would people subject our environment by issuing this license? Why would people do that? Additionally, we are monitoring the equipment, specifically the excavators that come to our port for clearance. And so the Lands and Natural Resource Ministry is working closely with the Ministry of Transport, DVLA, and the Port and Harbour Authority to ensure that any excavator that leaves the port is properly monitored. And that is why we've introduced tracking devices.
And number plates.
I'm talking about tracking devices.
Yes.
Let me speak to that. You see, it's important because we did not have that before. And so if somebody comes and do their paperwork and say, oh, I'm going to use the excavator, perhaps for sand production, for road construction, we just allow it. But perhaps they could be heading to a riverbank. And so for the tracking, and we've done close to 700 out of the 1,000 that were at the port for clearance. And we can say that with the civilians and for our consciousness, now you can't take all the excavators I'm talking about are currently being used for the purposes for which they were collected.
I was going to ask you if there's been a situation where you've been able to demobilize any excavator in a site it's not meant to be.
We have not. You know why? Because we are tracking and they know what it means. Because if we see that we find it culpable, we are going to ensure that we seize it.
What if they demobilize the tracker? Are they able to do it?
For now, we have not had that experience. Okay. But if we track and see that there's a funny situation, we will take you on. And so for now, so that, speaks to the fact that this tracking system is very, on point. It is going to ensure that we get the excavators to do right, or as per whatever they've told us they are going to use the excavators for. Additionally, I know you've heard about the NIMOS. The NIMOS is the National Anti-Mining, help me please.
I think I already hear.
Yes, the NIMOS. And it has a composition of all agencies that have the will to, combat the Galamsey fact.
Yeah.
It has representation from
anti-illegal
Operation Secretariat. Exactly. And so it's a composition of all agencies that are focused in fighting the Galamsey. You see, if a police task force is on their own, Ministry of Defense is on their own, Ministry of Environment, National Security, BNI, and all other agencies who currently form part of the NIMOS are all working to fight it on their own, and it's not centralized and properly coordinated, I think we would not be able to achieve the result we would be able to achieve with a coordinated, center front. And what have they been able to do with the water guards? What have they been able to do? They have seized 440 excavators.
440.
They've also seized 300 shamfires. And they've also seized 900 water pumps. And so the water pumps, we've given it to Ministry of Agriculture, to help our farmers with irrigation. We've also arrested, and so the Office of Attorney General is also part of the NIMOS. You also arrested 1,400 illegal miners.
So this you have done, arresting illegal miners.
Yes.
Seizing excavators.
Burning
of excavators
exactly,
and
yes.
Forming task forces.
Yes.
These 4, at least I've mentioned,
have been executed under the NIMOS.
No. I'm saying that they were all being done in the previous administration, and that has been the argument. That has been the debate today. They were also being done.
How can you compare? Let me say this. In their 8-year term, it will interest you to know that they arrested a little over 500 legal miners. 8 years.
So you're looking at
how can a serious government fighting Galamsey arrest a little over 500 people within 8 years? How can you compare that to a baby government that is 8 months old, that has arrested over 1,400 people? Can you see the disparity? They didn't have the willpower because their party cronies were the people who were beneficiaries of, the illegal mining.
But that's the reason why you said you were going to chase the kingpins. If I remember President Mohammed's words then at the time, he said, these small boys, we have to leave them and go after the real kingpins behind the Galamsey.
Let me say this clearly: we are on course. Before you get to a kingpin, you need to have the chain.
Okay, yeah.
You need to first grab those who are around the river banks. Do your analysis and get to the kingpin. So we are on course. And so looking at the numbers, I just spoke about over 1,400 being, caught within the period of 8 months. Clearly, we would be able to get the kingpins. Are you getting how it works? So you definitely need to get them first. Then you can move on with intelligence gathering to get the others. We've also repealed the airline 24/6. We are in the process of repealing it. And once the parliament, comes after recess, we are going to repeal it. The minister has written to the Attorney General. And so it would be repealed just when, parliament
resumes
recess. And that is a government that is committed to the fight of Galamsey. Annie, are you following?
Yes, I am.
That is a government. And I believe viewers are also, with all these things that we have done, we have even also reclaimed 5,500 hectares of land that were in a deplorable state. We have reclaimed them. We have reclaimed them. 5,500 hectares of land that were completely destroyed.
When you say you've reclaimed, what do you mean? Because reclaim is very technical.
Yep.
Having reclaimed the land means you have been able to seize the land from them, you've been able to plant trees, you've done all the technical processes that's needed
the planting of
to
trees,
reclaim a land.
The planting of trees is ongoing. And that is why our president said there's a need for, if you've heard the tree for life, that is a term. And we are very keen when it comes to slogan. We are not like other people who would always put out slogans and don't really mean what they are saying. And so we have planted millions of trees as it stands, and we are going to do more. And so we reclaim the land.
Yeah,
and it's continuous and it's ongoing.
I think you're safer you're safer putting it as you're in the process of doing land reclamation, not necessarily.
No, we have.
You have done that because within the short period of time the government has been in office, it's impossible to have been able to reclaim land for now.
It's impossible. It's impossible because of what we have been used to in the past. But we have done. So let me just say, let me put it side by side. But I know that, but maybe I would have to, cross-check with it. But I know we reclaimed it, 5,000. We can speak to the figure because we've reclaimed it. I would agree with you if we are not done with the tree planting. That is okay.
That's why I'm saying that land reclamation is technical.
Okay, it's a total.
Yes,
over.
It's not.
That's fine.
It's not
so
English.
Let me just.
Yes.
So, and as you already know, with our responsible cooperative mining and skills development, it's all to ensure that we promote responsible mining. And so if you see the minister always traveling around already, they visited 30 communities. You see how to get all the stakeholders on board and make things right. We are also reviewing the Minerals and Mining Act 206, 703, and also the Minerals and Mining Policy 2014. And it's all to ensure, that there is, responsible mining after stakeholder, engagement, and parliament, approval and whatever, however you may put it. And so there's so many things we are doing as a government. And so Ghanaians should know that the president they voted for, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is not relenting in the fight against Galamsey. And indeed, he has said it that there are so many avenues we need to, explore. And the difference between us and the past government is that we have a political will. Are you following?
Yeah.
And the reason why we told them to declare a state of emergency, but even before I go there, I'm going to come there, then I'll wrap up quickly, then my sister also, comes in. We have now deployed military, people around our water bodies and our forest areas. And so you dare not go to these areas to practice illegal mining.
I hope they are not protecting illegal miners.
They are not.
They are not protecting.
No, you see,
and I know why I'm saying that.
Yes, because of what we had experienced in the past with the 288 reserves that had 44 being, protected by tax, where tax were protecting illegal miners, and we reclaiming 9 for the red zone. So I know because there's a history, you may be tempted to think that the military people we have deployed to the water bodies and the forest reserves may be serving the same purpose as the previous government. But that is not the case, Annie. These are people who have been deployed to ensure that you don't cross the threshold. And we mean business. And that is actually the latest of all the things we are doing to combat Galamsey. And so now to the question of why we are not declaring state of emergency. Let me say this emphatically. With all due respect to Ghanaians who want a state of emergency declared, we have an action plan. We are executing the action plan vis-a-vis a past government that was clueless, that did not have any idea or have any plan or could not work out their action plan or slogans like the Operation Halt, Operation This, Operation That. We all heard it. And let me also say this, that, and I know for a fact, and you know why I know, because I was on the other side at that point in time. When they even declared the banning on the Galamsey, it was not because they thought that was the best foot forward. The plan was that they were clueless. We want power, we did not expect to win the power. So now we need to go back to the drawing table to see what we can do. So what they decided to do. Okay,
you need to do a needs assessment.
Well, it comes in again. So now let's just leave it. Let's just, ban it. So that was when they banned it around 2017, April, thereabout. That let's just ban it. And after banning it, we saw a hike or a peak in Galamsey. Why? Because they did not have any plan. So if you dispute what I'm saying, that they had a plan before banning it, I'm telling you they did not have a plan. And why you need to believe me is because it escalated. Even with the Professor Frimpong report on ministerial, anti-Galamsey, what have you. What did we see? We all saw what happened. We all heard it. That committee members were even found culpable. We're very, very much interested that after the banning or whatever the case may be, we are now going to put our best foot forward to make the land or environment very deplorable. So they didn't have any plan. And so when we called for a state of emergency, I'm not going to shy away from it. Some members of my party called for a state of emergency. We did that then because they could not work out any action plan.
Your members of your party, as in NDC.
Of course, I'm in the NDC now.
Rosemary,
you are very mischievous. You are very mischievous, Annie. But let's stick to why we called for a state of emergency then. Personally, I'm not going to shy away from it. Why? Because they had proved to us that they were clueless, almost ending the 8-year mandate. And so if you are clueless and people in, their party corners, party regional chairpersons, and what have you, we even had women organizers saying that in our local language, party hiesika, and so let's destroy the environment. Let's make the country very unbearable. And so with all this in place, with a report from Al Jazeera, Anas, and all that, we had come to that point. They had clearly depicted, they had clearly shown that they didn't have any willpower. There was no political will. They were clueless. They had no idea. And so we told them. And so a state of emergency was very valid then. Because they don't even exhaust any plans because they were just clueless. They were just interested in putting out slogans. And and they know I know. When I say that, I know and you understand. Because they were just interested in putting out slogans. Operation this, operation that, let's do this, let's do that. What did it yield? And so we called for a state of emergency. It might not be everybody in the government. But some key members of our party called for it. And I'm saying that they called for it because there was no action plan. Vis-a-vis our situation now, we are a baby government. This is 8 months, or even let's say even 9 months, not even up to a year. Our action plan is on course. We are executing it. Those are elaborated and more.
All right.
And so clearly, there's a difference, there's a clear disparity. And so we can only indulge the voters, the people who put their confidence in us, that please, take it easy. Watch us. Let us implement our plans. If it fails, we'll go back to the drawing table and we will give you what you are looking for. That is what I can say.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, too.
Honey, it's quite interesting. Hey, Kasa from Ampa.
Last week, you came here, you brought documents here on this same mining thing, a lot of documents. Only for us to find out in the media that apparently, say your documents are fake documents. I've even been accused of unprofessional and unethical conduct in allowing you to put out these fake documents to the public, and that before your own committee, you have been exposed. And I'm sure that's a video that people really put out there to show that indeed all the things that you came to say here on Good Morning Ghana were false, and that you have been exposed right before your own committee that you chaired. Why would you engage in that?
So let's come to the matter of licenses. Let me begin by stating emphatically that at no time have I peddled falsehood. Those out there saying that I brought fake documents to Metro TV's highly respected platform, Good Morning Ghana, know that they are being totally dishonest and disingenuous. I have copies of the documents that I downloaded from the Minerals Commission's own website. I have copies here. The 56 licenses between 2009 and 2016. They are here. And you remember
this is what you showed us last week.
Yes, and you remember that I made you go through them. I made copies available to you. I also have what I downloaded for the current era, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia era, the 1,503 small-scale licenses.
Let's understand something. So the Minerals Commission has a website.
Yes.
And that website has...
it's called it's called the Ghana Mining Repository.
Yes.
And the website is ghana.revenuedev.org. Viewers can go there now.
Yes.
Ghana.revenue, then DEV. So revenue development, revenue,
so the
DEV.org.
So the Mineral Repository
yeah.
is a site which is managed by the Minerals Commission.
By the Minerals Commission.
The data there is put there by the Minerals Commission.
By the Minerals Commission.
And when you go there,
you will see this.
What does it say?
It gives you the state of licenses. So you would see the licenses that, that they have issued. So it allows you to filter by license code. So the license code is there. Then the company entry is there. Then you also see the type of mining lease. It's also there. There's a whole column for that. Then it gives you the status, whether it's an active license, whether it is a license which has expired, is all there. Whether it's in progress, you'll see that on the website. Then you are also given the region where the concession is located. It's on the website. Then we are also told the kind of mineral right that you have. Is it gold? Is it diamond? Is it granite? Is it salt? It's all provided in the repository. Then the duration of your lease. Is it for 5 years? Small scale mining lease, 5 years. Is it large scale, 30 years? It's all there. A very comprehensive data. And this is what is the authority that all of us have been using. Parliament uses it. Civil society organizations. If you recall the work that the Fourth Estate did, that is the same source, the Ghana Mining Repository. The work that Imani has done, you've seen Bryce Simmons, Franklin Kujo, they've done an analysis. That same website, the Ghana Mining Repository, that is what we all use. The only difference is that I decided to download, because especially when the Fourth Estate realized that some changes were being effected, some information were being withdrawn, and it's been happening under this government. You go on their website, you are referencing some items, and then some people begin to.
No, we can't play all that, but I think that was a show we had right here, and I think Honorable Ablakwa at the time did the downloads of the data on the Ghana repository website. Sorry, Rosemond, is that website still active? I haven't checked in recent times.
Website?
The Ghana repository on it is a Minerals Commission website. Is it still active?
It's still
because
active.
you're saying that you have not issued any license to any small-scale mining
for forest reserve.
For forest reserve, you have not issued
not
any
even
license.
one single mining license. Yes.
So producers, thank you for that video, but we'll have to check on that so that we will also check on the statistics you're dealing with today. If you're saying that you're fighting that Galamsey now, Laura, so let me give you the time now
Annie,
to respond.
This is a case of what was ordered and what has been delivered or what is being delivered. Look, we went into an election with manifestos and promises. In one breath, the LI has been repealed. In another breath, when Parliament comes back, it will be repealed. In one breath, millions of trees have been planted. In another breath, you are the one clarifying it, that it's better to say what? That you are in the process of doing
reclaiming.
Annie, what is this current government doing that is new? They are doing nothing.
Revoke forest licenses.
How did they find these people to revoke the licenses? How do you regulate a sector? It's by making sure that you get those who are identified, registered, right? So if anybody wants to make a case of registration an issue, then I don't think we are ready to fight illegal mining. When does one become illegal? One becomes illegal when they don't have the right documentation. What is Galamsey? Illegal mining. The small-scale mining, there's illegal mining, which is Galamsey. How do you get to revoke a person's registration? Is when they don't go by the tenets that they've signed up to. So I don't think revocation
of
licenses is another way of curbing the illegality, right? But how do you revoke? You don't draw the people in to register them and monitor them to do the right things. Yes, there was a ban on mining in 2017. There were positives. That wasn't the first time mining Galamsey was being tackled. But probably that boldness that his sector...
That was the first time Galamsey was being tackled?
I said that wasn't the first time Galamsey was being tackled.
Okay.
Galamsey has been with us since the late 1980s. But it hasn't been this bad, at least for the last 20 years. It's been terrible. Maybe the boldness that President Akufo-Addo exhibited in banning mining, probably if this current government have lived to what they trumpeted, including the current lands minister, had trumpeted when they were in opposition, I don't think we'll be sitting here saying LI has been repealed or it will be repealed, trees are being planted. What new thing are they doing to fight Galamsey? The same Erastus that were quoting copiously. The last time I was here 2 weeks ago, he was shouting, in context, on his page, that the forest reserves that the IGP team that were told didn't know what they were doing had cleared, had been repossessed by illegal miners. So quickly, something is said, and because of their populist nature, they'll take security in, go and clear them, take pictures, and the next moment they are back. What new is this administration doing? At least President Akufo-Addo was bold enough to ban mining in his first, just to assess the situation properly and realign it properly. There were challenges, no doubt about that. 2020, he was bold enough to say, I'm putting my presidency on the line. We lost almost all the mining constituency, I think apart from Takwa also. We are still tackling it. Our compatriots in government now said they could deal with it. The people we are arresting were not the people who were supposed to be arrested. But how were we arresting these people? Because we're licensing and regulating these people. So the moment you can't show your license, it's easy to arrest the person in the act. But we're told that amnesty will be given to those who have been arrested because they are not. How many kingpins in 9 months? In 9 months, they are being called the baby government. But in 9 months, they've removed the Chief Justice, something that's never been done. In 9 months, they passed an act for gold board. Yes, that may have been their priority. But how does an institution that is supposed to get this gold tell us that, yes, the act has been passed, but we start tracing the source of our gold? Because there's an allegation that we're buying, and we're subtly told that there's nothing wrong with buying Galamsey gold. So where is that commitment?
Please, so I beg you, who said that? Who said there's nothing wrong with
Galamsey?
Who said there's nothing wrong with buying Galamsey gold?
I didn't say we're subtly told.
By who?
When
told
His
by
Excellency, the President, was giving the explanation to the gold board and
the Galamsey,
the Galamsey and all that. Remember, it means that what is at least that gold is coming in. You didn't hear that?
That gold is coming in, which implies.
Apart from that, gold board is buying gold. When are they going to start tracing?
Let's set the record straight.
Yes.
Nobody has said that there's nothing wrong buying illegal gold.
Nobody has said
Let's
that.
put that on record.
Nobody has said that. Okay.
Continue.
So it's on record. Nobody has said that.
Yeah.
But the gold that gold board is buying, do they know the source of the gold they are buying?
Do you know the source of the gold?
They said they are going to start tracing the gold they are buying in 2026.
Yes, they set up
Why not trace it now?
A system to trace.
Why not trace it now if you are really committed to buying gold from legal miners and not buying gold from illegal miners?
What are you saying?
You won't understand because you don't want to understand. When you are going to buy something, you want to know the source, right? Now, even because of the issue of Galamsey, when you are buying even bottled water or sachet water, you want to know where the water is coming from, don't you? You want to know the source of the water. You want to know. But a whole gold board is buying gold now, and they want to be tracing the gold after 1 year of buying the gold. What does that imply?
But Ghana was buying gold even before the coming in of gold board.
Yes, but there were other people trading in gold.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't the sole...
I'm sorry. There were licensed...
It wasn't the sole business of the... Like cocoa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the government that buys the cocoa from the producers. But until gold board, there were other people that were dealing in gold.
Yes.
Now the sole business of government, unless you're telling me I'm wrong about the operations of gold board. So if you are buying, haven't we heard over the years, cocoa board go in after someone? Well, what is the source? Okay, let's put it this way. What is the source of the gold that Ghana gold board is buying? What is the source of the gold that Ghana gold board? If they are not buying, the allegations they are buying Galamsey gold. If they are not buying Galamsey gold, they should show us where they are buying the gold from.
So before,
and not wait till 2026 to trace the gold that they are buying. I think if we wanted to be committed to weeding out Galamsey, one of the first things that should have been done is tracing the source of the gold that the Ghana gold board is buying. That is the point I'm making. But Annie, coming back to the interventions that are being put in place. Yes, there were challenges with the previous administration. Ghanaians thought those challenges were not pardonable. Were voted out. The government that promised amnesty for those that are being arrested and they were coming to arrest the kingpins are here. The government that said they were going to repeal the LI are here. The government that some promised push for state of emergency are here. The people that were calling for a ruthless war against Galamsey haven't changed. Catholic Bishops' Conference, that media coalition against Galamsey, some of the trade unions, they haven't changed. They are the same people still calling out this government to fight Galamsey. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago, there was some video, I can't verify that, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was some video purportedly from airport residential that had water that looked like muscatella coming out of it. We've had water bodies. And in all these conversations that we are having, I'm yet to hear any government official tell us that this is what we are doing and this has been the outcome. Vis-a-vis the passion with which they campaigned with Galamsey before coming into government. So if you call yourself a baby government, you call yourself a government that is still crawling or whatever, but you can take adult steps like removing a CJ, like passing an act to be the sole buyer of gold, then are you making Galamsey a priority as you campaigned for the previous government to make it a priority? Let's assume without admitting that the previous government did nothing about Galamsey. The current government made it a priority. Why is it not a priority now? Why are they pussyfooting? Why are they flip-flopping in the promises they made? What new thing have they added on to the fight against Galamsey? This is not the first time we're going to have water guards. 1 million trees, wherever they are. I remember when I was talking about the livelihood empowerment thing here, I was sitting right here. You asked me where those reclamations were being done. How much? The 1 million trees, where are they?
You mean the one planted by them or you?
No, she said they planted almost 1 million trees.
I didn't
Unless you
give a
want to
figure. I
retract
said
that.
millions of trees.
No, millions of trees. Yes. So it's not even one. It's more than one. Where are they? Where are the millions of trees being planted?
Take you on a tour.
The livelihood, I don't need to go on a tour. Tell Ghanaians. The livelihood empowerment program that the previous administration set in place. Yes, there was a war against Galamsey, there was a pushing halt, there was Galam stop and all that. But that is when you deal with a problem and you continuously monitor your progress and improve on it. But people of Ghana said that wasn't helping us. So those who made it a priority should come and fix it. What they are supposed to do is fix it. To date, apart from Gold Board, they haven't been able to tell us any substantial thing. The only thing you hear is that when agitations are high, you see the minister on the water, on a boat, on the waters. Now they are saying what? They've declared what? Security zones.
The water
we are
bodies
here
are security
because
zones.
at the end of the day, we talk about these things not for partisan issues. At the end of the day, the water that comes to you and I has to be safe. Like earlier on I told you, sometime last year, years before, we're getting some level of water supply in my area within a week. Now we buy water almost every week or every other week. The water that was 130 when I moved there 2 years ago, as at March, it was 150 per gallon. It's now 250 per a tank. These are verifiable facts. People live there. I don't live there. alone. How sustainable are those things? What are they doing to assuage the things they trumpeted?
Okay.
They should make it a priority and let's all feel the ease they promised, but not to be delivering something different as against what they offered. And look at the influx of excavators. These same excavators that they said they are putting tracking numbers on and all that, we're told that 33 got missing. The last time you're telling me that they said it was data miscommunication, whichever it is. Now, excavators are coming in so much. What is making it so attractive for people to bring in excavators at that level that they are choking our ports, that they have to find another place and put them, and they are moving them at night. She couldn't tell you. At least we can tell you excavators were demobilized. She can tell you any excavators that they've...
Excavators were being burnt during the previous administration.
Some were
criticized
being, at a point, was
and
being
the same
demobilized.
is being done now. Is this one thing that I can't understand?
Told. So, but at the end of the day, what are we looking for? Stop what they promised to stop Galamsey, to arrest the kingpins, to stop arresting those on the field and arresting the financiers. We want to see it. Today is what, 29 September. It's 9 months into the administration. They have 4 years. Practically 6 months in 2028 is gone. So they have about 2 years, 3 months or so, or 9 months, whichever. They should prioritize what borders on the well-being of Ghanaians. Just as the previous administration took bold decision to ban Galamsey mining at a point just to get the right fit, license people. So you may think that the licensing, too many licenses, but how do you regulate people if you don't license them, if you don't put them in that situation where you can show them and direct them? All the trainings that Association of Small-Scale Miners were doing with humans. I think there was another one, Gold Project. Civil society was in there. Now we are being told people will be taken to Australia. What happened to those interventions? What happened to the livelihood empowerment? What happened to the gold catchers? Because we are being told a lot of mercury is being seen in our contemporary, law and all those things. What is happening to the gold catchers program? What's happening to all those things? They should let us know. Because we all need to feel safe.
I need to see registering and tracking the new excavators from the port via DVLA is laudable by the government. It helps you to know the rightful owners, hence puts the fear in the owners to stay off illegal mining. That was missing in the past of the MPP government. If Larry is asking what different this government is doing, at least the Minister of Lands has equally sent a strong signal across those in illegal mining. Those in illegal mining, indicating when arrested, no mercy at all. All hotspots for illegal mining in the forest areas are under permanent military control. Turbidity level of water bodies are now getting better, even though some bad. On that note, we are getting there gradually. Papa Bisu, Spentex, is the one that sent this in. Musa Bato says that it's important to acknowledge that the fact that massive operation currently striking all major Galamsey hotspots are unprecedented and have never been carried out on the scale before. Genuine criticism should be done in honesty before you criticize a tireless effort. It is fair and reasonable to first commend what has been achieved and call for more action when necessary. My regards to Chief of Staff Julius Deborah Musa to send this in. Mr. Wanda and so on, Mr. Adreju says, good morning, Annie. Larato and Nanado and Dr. Baumia-led government messed up all sectors of the economy miserably and now has the temerity to complain. You're asking. They said they should wait patiently to witness a good governance under the able leadership of John Dramani Mahama, you say. Regards to Chairman Oliver and good morning. And I know apparently it is now apparently clear that John Dramani Mahama and his government have little appetite to confront the Galamsey menace, which poses a grave threat to our very existence in the country. When in opposition, John Mahama created an impression that he had all the solutions to curb the illegal mining. Yet, in practice, this government has demonstrated little commitment or seriousness in addressing the crisis. The truth is that he can never stop the Galamsey because it is an established fact that certain elements within the NDC are deeply entangled in benefiting from these destructive activities. MD Seshiri also is the one that sent this in. Okay. Okay. Let me just have 2 minutes each. We're wrapping up. So 2 minutes each. Rosemont.
Okay. I'm just quite unfolded by the fact that she says she didn't hear, the interventions of the government. And I'm struggling to comprehend because the hearing range.
That you've done nothing, you're not committed. You said state of emergency.
She had
Why are
me
you not doing
outline
state of
so many
emergency?
points. And so I don't know if it has to do with the hearing range, issues of years or I don't know. Because I outlined so many things. I even spoke about how the fraudulent, almost 1,000 minor licenses that had been issued had been revoked. But 55 have been revoked. The rest are almost, being revoked. So many things, about 9, interventions.
She's saying that
I think she's just being mischievous.
Okay, but she said that revocation of licenses is not necessarily a solution to the problem.
It's not a solution.
Call a state of emergency.
When you've given out fraudulent, when you're giving legitimacy to, something that is illegal.
Okay.
And you're saying it costs for nothing if we revoke it. Please, she should give us a break. Okay, she also said we are buying gold from Gold Board. And Gold Board, getting
buying
gold
from illegal miners.
Illegal miners. That is completely
Okay, she's not saying that exactly.
That is falsehood.
She's saying if you're not buying from illegal miners, let us know where you're buying it from. Because Gold Board is now indicating that it's going to establish the traceability, the traceability system to trace the source of gold.
When you're tracing something, you need to, have a comprehensive, understanding or how to analyze it. You don't just, tracing requires a lot of, intelligence. And so as a system, it takes time. It takes time. And so you don't just get up and say this, but you need to trace it. From point A, it moves to point B, point C, it moves to point D. And so once it has to, take place within a system, it will take time. And she should know better. Also, let me speak briefly about the turbidity levels of the water. Ordinarily, at most, it should be between 0 to 500. So the most should be 500. But we came to meet water turbidity levels from 5,000 to 12,000. And that is very dangerous. That is unforgivable. And that is the state they plunged us into. And let me also say this, that we are listening to people. We are taking the concerns. But MPP as a party, they don't have any moral right whatsoever to lecture us, to educate us, to even critique us. Okay. Because we are trying to undo the harm they did to our environment. Okay. So they shouldn't. They should just keep quiet.
Okay.
When you can say time is up, you are giving 2 minutes. When you are coming on the show, and you are giving notes, you also need to factor in that when you are giving lecture notes, you also have a responsibility as a student to do further research on what you're coming to communicate. And I think she should learn that. But at the end of the day, if you sat on one side and
did you give her lecture?
She has the moral right to educate. That's what I said. They don't have any moral right.
You sat on one side and you claim, even though you are on that side, you were telling them. And today, how many weeks have you been in MDC and you want to talk like the founder of the party? I have nothing to be worried about. I'm with I was with the previous administration and I'm still with my party. And
but
that
gives her more ground to
it gives her more ground.
Because she was
it gives her the ground of a snitch or someone who doesn't know how to
sit.
You're calling her.
Because if you were sitting there,
it is clearly personalized. Why would you say this?
But political parties are not.
Why would you say this?
You kept telling her. What are you saying?
No, but you can't. What are you saying? Political parties are not religious bodies.
You see how.
And so when something is wrong, you stay in.
How your boss, Dr. Randy, celebrated you over the weekend.
Okay.
May we all leave our bosses.
So what is the point? What is the point?
That they will celebrate us and have that confidence.
Okay.
You feel that Galamsey came to it.
Okay, we'll pause here and continue.
Smart, bold, unapologetic. This is Annie Amperful.